John.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy a boy, he'll never become a man. He destroy black boys. If yes, he destroy. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama. And you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes.
To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the center.
Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. And I guess that's my cue. And tonight, our beer is again Elliott Nest, Great Lakes. So pop 'em if you got 'em. And so I won't have to make so many trips. I have the special skeleton glass that holds a lot of this amber ambrosia. So we can pour one down. And as always, we're smoking on the Luca Unicorn Luca. And 2, 3, 4, 5. It's okay. It's up here too. And my skeleton cup will fit 2 cold beers. So why not put 2 in there? Yeah, there we go. In the giant skeleton glass. It is beautiful. It was a beautiful day. Didn't do much. Again, kind of let my knee rest a little bit from pickleball. So didn't get a chance to play today. So smoke them if you want them for sure. Because I blow big stacks. Woo. PJ Allen.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Lorenzo.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
El Dragon. What's happening?
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
I have not ordered them yet. But I tell you what, I'm glad to order them because them seem to be like what keeps the price. So now I haven't ordered another pair yet. But I'm going to, because I know where I can get the all-white ones. So what you showed me, I can get the all-white one. That's the one I want. Hey, B. Brown.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Thank you for joining me. What I have in store tonight is, it's, up here, they've been wilding. Up here in the Great White North, they've been wilding up here. And they just, there's no respect. There's no respect. And as Lobo pointed out in his video, that, James Harden hit the shot. Then, he's got his new shoes on. He's signing the shoes. They keep showing the guy over and over, the young man who got shot in Michigan State. So they kept showing that over and over again. And he hits the shot and gives him the shoes. I was like, that is just, let me see. It is one story that kind of did all the headlines. I know, the Texas thing, somebody had mentioned that last night, but then I don't want to tell my opinion of that because that will probably get me in trouble. If I tell you my opinion of that kind of thing. I think, let's see if it's this story first by the second story. Let's see. I think it's one first before this one. Let's see, well, I guess we can get right into it. I think there's this. Okay, it's a couple things I can do with this. Okay. I have this. All right. Bring this over. And this is what happened here in the Great White North today. We had a couple tornadoes way west of me. But here we go.
4 weeks, a community in our area is mourning the loss of a law enforcement officer. We're now learning more about 29-year-old Deputy Katie Lacing. Today, the community support continued at Regents Hospital in St. Paul. You can see these officers and deputies lining the walkway, saluting as they prepare to bring Deputy Lacing back to Wisconsin. Now, some aerial images that show the overwhelming support, many people lining bridges along I-94 this afternoon. Mariel Mose is live in Hudson outside the sheriff's office there where a squad car memorial is growing tonight. Elle?
Yeah, Derek, and this is the 4th time we've seen a squad car memorial for an area deputy or officer. And that's really what struck so many people that came by this memorial today to pay their respects. Those that I spoke with told me that it's really concerning to them how often communities in our area are having to come together over a fallen officer or deputy.
Now let me say this. Now remember what was the opposite. Remember what was the opposite. It was the officers killing people, as in Floyd, Castile, a couple others. And now it seems like things are turned. It's interesting. Interesting. But let's go.
You didn't need to know Katie Lacing personally to feel compelled to honor her life and her service to St. Croix County.
I'm so thankful that there are so many people here. We rallied last minute.
Croix, to give you some reference, St. Croix County Hudson is the border. You know, we have, what would that be? Roseville, almost, where I got to go tomorrow, is almost, but Hudson is the Wisconsin side of the border. So that's why they brought her to St. Paul.
We all came together and we have to be here.
A crowd of people from all over gathered on the 11th Street Bridge over Interstate 94 on Sunday afternoon as Deputy Lacing's body was brought from the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's office to the funeral home.
Thought we'd bring our grandkids down here to support a little bit as we can do, I guess.
A squad car marks a memorial for her in front of the St. Croix County Sheriff's Office as people have come by to lay flowers and pay their respects, including Chad and Laura Johnson, who live in Hudson.
Yeah, it's just senseless. It's just very sad.
You feel for the family members that had a daughter that didn't come home.
And let me say this, I've said before, you know, we got a lot of ugly people in Wisconsin. It is also one of the worst states to live in. Let me say, especially for melanated people. This is one of the worst states to live in.
Last night.
A few of the deputies who just lost their colleague lowered the flag to half staff.
My son is a police officer. I've got other family who are in the police force across the 2 states, and I just wanted to show my respects for the officer who was lost yesterday.
Marcia Krogh saying can't believe another law enforcement officer's life was cut short.
3 in Wisconsin, 1 in Minnesota within the last month. I just hope it's not a trend.
This community, like the others in the last month, have all shown their strength in numbers through difficult times.
You need them to come together. We all come together, and it's just great to see that in our community.
Deputy Lacing did join the St. Croix County Sheriff's Office last year, but before that she served for 2 years as a county deputy in South Dakota. And we are learning more today from the man investigators say is responsible for shooting and killing Deputy Lacing last night. We're told that 34-year-old Jeremiah Johnson shot and killed Deputy Lacing and then ran into a nearby wooded area.
Name that race. Jeremiah Johnson. Name that race.
And then turned the gun on himself. Derek?
All right, Mariel Mose live in Hudson tonight. Thank you. As Mariel mentioned, this is the latest in a deadly month for law enforcement across our region. Just 3 weeks ago, Polk County Deputy Joshua Owen was shot and killed while responding to a domestic assault call in Cyrus, Minnesota. Another deputy and police officer from Starbuck were also injured but survived. 1 week before that, another shooting led to the loss of 2 Wisconsin officers. Chetek police officer Emily Breidenbach and officer Hunter Scheel of the Cameron Police Department were killed. The officers were shot during a traffic stop near Cameron, Wisconsin. That's just 45 miles north and east of where the fatal shooting happened yesterday.
And it almost seems like a trend. We would almost say this is kind of a trend, and not a good trend. I mean, but you know, they're gonna tell you a little more.
This is Fox 9.
Let's you know, they got more than just a little news. We need to know her. Let's learn about the officer.
News at 9.
Another day of mourning, another procession, and yet another family left behind. A young deputy in western Wisconsin is dead tonight after she was shot while investigating a drunk driving crash. Our top story tonight, one that's happening too often.
In our region alone, 4 law enforcement officers have been killed in the last month. 3 deputies in western Wisconsin and an officer in Pope County, Minnesota.
Our Courtney Godfrey will take a closer look at.
Now, wow. Gosh. Yeah, putting them together like this is 4. You know, again, this is martyrs. Remember, this is anti-Floyd. This is anti-Floyd. Oh my goodness, what is this called when they line them up like this? Oh my goodness, what is this called? I'm old man and y'all. But this presentation, oh man, what is this called? I forget.
This disturbing trend in a moment, but first, let's check in with Rose Schmidt, who is in St. Croix County tonight, where Deputy Katie Leising was killed just last night. Rose?
Yeah, we've watched.
Now, Rose doesn't look bad. She doesn't look bad. This is a nice, it was in the 70s here today. Rose does not look bad. Hair's whipped. You know, she doesn't look bad. Get down, Rose.
This memorial just continued to grow today. Deputy Leising was 29 years old with about 3 years of service. The sheriff says from her infectious smile to her personality, she will be missed by all she touched. From the Twin Cities to St. Croix County, Wisconsin, first responders covered overpasses and lined on-ramps to support one of their own.
There's tears, there's anger, there's emotion going through everybody's, you know, it's a gut-wrenching thing. We're in small-town Wisconsin.
On Saturday night, Deputy Katie Leising was in the township of Glenwood when she was shot and killed while investigating a possible drunk driver in a ditch. Less than 24 hours later, her fellow officers brought her body from the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's office to the funeral home in Baldwin, Wisconsin.
It's just amazing to see community come together in a time like this, and the police need our support.
And yet another family left behind. A young.
Oh my goodness. Where was it? Where was it? Where'd she go? Oh. Why does it keep? Now, what did I tell y'all? I told you the ugliest people in the world. See, that's Eau Claire. Eau Claire is about an hour away from me. Told you the ugliest people in America live in Wisconsin. And this is a prime example. She used to be a wrestler.
They don't deserve this.
We're also learning more about what led up to this incident. The Wisconsin Department of Justice says Deputy Leising asked 34-year-old Jeremiah Johnson to conduct field sobriety tests, but 8 minutes later, he shot her. She fired back 3 times but missed, and he got away. Authorities began searching for Johnson, and about an hour later, an officer witnessed him collapse to the ground of a gunshot wound and die. Meanwhile, Deputy Leising was taken to the hospital where she died. Local police departments say she leaves behind a wife and baby son.
We owe our officers due respect and be praying for them every night that they can come home to their family.
And you heard that, a wife and a son. Another agenda. Okay, let's go.
Nice.
But isn't that interesting? This channel told us actually what happened. The other channel didn't really tell us what happened. They told us what happened.
DOJ's Division of Criminal Investigation is investigating this incident. We've also learned this was caught on body camera. Reporting live in Hudson, Wisconsin, Rose Schmidt, Fox 9.
All right, Rose, thank you. Again, Deputy Leising's death marks the 4th line-of-duty death in our region in just the last month.
It's a disturbing trend for the law enforcement community, and Courtney Godfrey joining us now from our newsroom. Courtney, the numbers are very concerning.
They sure are, Kelsey. Not only is this the 4th death in our region in recent weeks, officials say it's the most line-of-duty deaths in the state of Wisconsin in a single year since 2000, and we're only 5 months in.
I don't know what's going on with the world, but something's got to change.
News of yet another law enforcement death hits especially hard for Megan Matson. 3 years after her husband, former Waseca police officer Eric Matson, was shot in the line of duty.
I wish we had an answer as to what is happening, what is going on right now. If we had that answer, we would be able to prevent it from stopping.
Matson, who took a bullet to the head while responding to a seemingly routine call, says he's worried about a trend as Deputy Katie Lysing becomes the 4th officer from.
Didn't I say that? A trend. Yep. Okay, now we're seeing the 22. We're seeing the 2-2. But okay, let's go.
Our region killed in just the last month.
Every day we put on that uniform, we expect to come home, but the reality is it's not happening like it used to.
Really, this is a shocking trend that I have not observed in my entire career.
Former St. Paul Police Chief Todd Axtell blaming too many guns in the hands of the wrong people and general disregard for human life.
And sometimes people forget that a police officer, deputy, or trooper who are wearing the badge, there's a human behind that badge.
The Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association using much stronger language, saying in a statement, "We must reflect on how we got to this point. Criminals have no fear as they engage law enforcement with deadly force. At the same time, political leaders are pursuing."
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. If they didn't have the deadly force, a lot of time the deadly force wouldn't be used against them because they're known to carry deadly force. Now, I can't speak on England, you know. Bobby's whooped the shit out of you with the things, the nightsticks, but it's a hard call because I feel conflicted because I've been in both situations. I've been the guy behind the badge and I've been the guy that hates the people behind the badge. And so when I see this, I do feel sorry, but I see both sides because you have people with deadly force that have deadly force ability on them stopping people. Now, in Minneapolis proper, they're pretty much going to stop people. They're going to be forced to stop people. They can't stop people anymore. But what I've noticed and what this kind of shows you is the state patrol and the sheriff's department are the ones that's going to pick up stopping people. Because right now, the little towns in Minneapolis, because we're on the border. We're a border town. And what it seems like the agenda is the sheriff's department and the state are doing the stops now. They haven't stopped stopping people. Again, the state can't afford to not get tickets. So some of that's propaganda. But let's go. Let's let them finish.
Reform proposals, which would make the job less safe. Meanwhile, Megan does all she can to support spouses of the fallen with a special message for Deputy Lysing's family tonight.
Our hearts.
All right, we don't really need to see this. But that's kind of what's been going on up here. Saw this morning. I was like, well, damn, woke up to this. Yeah, this was the first report. Yeah, you would never think just, for a drunk driver that something like that would happen to you.
For the 4th time in the past 4 weeks.
Okay. You would not think that, but that's how it goes sometimes, y'all. And it's a lot of jobs you can do where you don't go home. But that is one job where that is the possibility. A fireman, but anybody, you can drive. I mean, we live in an economy and a society where you have to drive. And so by just us driving, you dig, we could, something could happen to us. So, yeah, let me catch up. Let's see. Let me see. I think I said, hey, what's everybody? You echoing? Yeah, I'm hearing that echo. I know where that's coming from. Yeah, I thought I was echoing. I hear that a little bit. So thank you. I noticed you had a Texas shooting last year around. Well, they had another Texas shooting the other day too. That wife and son. He got an accent. Yeah, they had another shooting in Texas. I think it was a brother who shot him. So, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. It really is. I mean, it's just, we look at the world every day, and I bring up these things, but it's just, it's like every day they want to give us these kind of things. And so, and check out Lobo. Lobo did he did a breakdown of Harden's shot. So make sure you check that out. And I was sleepy. I didn't go to bed till 4 last night. I still got up at 8 o'clock, 8:30. Just laid there long enough. I got a few little naps during the day. But that was the major story up here today. Another officer slain. And it's funny, I was hearing people talk about the coronation, sat at the table where the person actually took pictures. She actually took pictures off the TV. She's taking pictures of the coronation. But I wanted her to send me that picture because it was, let's see if I can find that. Because it was interesting. Okay, let me see if I can find this picture. Because it was quite interesting. I want to see if they can show this room he was in. Because it was a room where, because remember, his relative Henry VIII invented Protestants. And it was a wall she took a picture of. And let me see if I can catch that picture when they were against that wall. Because it was interesting. It's not this wall. Let's see. Let's see if they show it on here. And these people, remember that they changed their names because the people that are in charge or the king and queen, and remember, the king is the biggest landowner in the world. If you didn't know that, the biggest landowner in the world is that King Charles and their family. They changed their names to Windsor because they're German people. Isn't that something? The German people rule the British crown. See, that's why they made that first King George a scapegoat, because again, he was right with Hitler, because these are his people. Look up the royal. Look up a book. It's a book called the Royal Nazi. You can look him up, the Royal Nazi, where they had sent him before the war. Like they sent this dude. He married somebody in that family. The Windsors had a kingdom there. So they put their cousin in this kingdom, and he became a Nazi. And that's not hard to find. They don't hide that. So these are German people that are ruling British people. God, I don't know if I can find that panel. Might have, well. But a carriage made of gold, I must admit, that's some pimpy stuff. A golden carriage? I would do that. I would golden carriage all day. Y'all get tired of seeing my golden carriage. But you know what's interesting? Surprisingly, people don't try to stop that golden carriage, attack it, and rip that gold off that thing. Yeah, these are lizard people like a mug. Means they're gonna show this ugly face. I mean, that is just a face that, oh my goodness. But I think what the king said, if the head's right, Biggie's there every night. Because this chick is beyond ugly. This is like one of the ugliest women that there was ever in the world. See if we can get a face shot of this ugly chick. There we go. This chick is the ugliest chick that, like, what did he see in her? This ugly thing. Like, she's beyond ugly. Look at that, though. I like that. When you know the purple. Look at all the symbolism. You know, these diamonds up here, you know, these is diamonds all taken from India. And look at the purple from the Romans. This is almost popish. You know, the conqueror, the lion's mane. But that purple goes back to Rome. This goes back to Roman time. But that is one ugly woman. They got any other pictures of her ugly self? I mean, oh my God, look at that. Look at that. How would you want to look at that? She was ugly when she was young. And instead of Diana being king, look at this. It got all these diamonds. This $1 million worth of diamonds. But ugly is ugly. She don't even look human. Look at them eyes and the pupils. Look at that. Again, all these Indian diamonds, South African diamonds. You know, they don't talk about their blood diamonds, do they? But look at that. Look how ugly this woman is. Like, how would you want to look at that every day? Going from a divorce. Remember I started talking about George? They got rid of George because he got divorced. But like, this woman is beyond ugly. Who is that? No, that's the grandmother Victoria. Yeah, her. That was her. Queen Mother, they called her. This is when the first George, I think, the George they ran out. Not sure, but I think that's what all this is. And again, this is the church. It represents the church. Look at the staff. You know, they copied a lot of you know, what they found in Kemet. And look at all this pageantry. Look at this. Church. You know, he's boxed in by the church, but yet he has the lightning bolts. I believe that would be his wife there. But the nobles. Look at all the nobles. This is a beef eater. See, y'all didn't know that was a beef eater. Y'all didn't even know that was a beef eater. That's a beef eater. Look it up. And this is the linebacker that plays for, I forget what team that linebacker played for, but look at that linebacker. Look at them shoulders. Them is some hell of a shoulders. I don't know if this is George or his brother, Elizabeth's husband, Elizabeth's daddy. I'm not sure. The brothers looked almost alike, but remember, he almost looked like the Tsar from Russia as well. They almost looked like twins. They were first cousins. And again, all these diamonds they stole from India. They refused to give back. Don't know who this ugly lady is. Don't care. I be looking at the stuff in the background. Look at all this gold. You know who wants gold like this is Anunnaki. You know, the Anunnaki said you put all that gold around you. See that? That's real. This ain't fake stuff. And this is stuff, you know, that they captured people and captured lands and stowed there. This is how they got all this. These are the richest. This is the richest landowner in the world. That's just ugly with a crown. Ugly with a crown. That's the linebacker again. I don't know why they keep showing the linebacker. Is that the line? So yeah. See, this is the brother that took over that stuttered. There's a movie about him stuttering and shit. And this is who they let put in power. He shouldn't have been in power. This is the queen mom, her mom. And it's funny. He dies of smoking cigarettes, and so does she. Both of them die from the same thing, smoking cigarettes. Isn't that trip? It's kind of the Americans, and then there goes this lizard. But that, oh my goodness, that's a lot of ugly. I'm not going to be able to find that wall I was looking for. I wonder who this is. Scotland? I can't tell. You know, they have to reveal their secrets when you see stuff like this. My goodness, I know they just like, man, this chick ugly to mug. Like, do we really got to put this crown on this ugly chick? I think it's that wall back there. Again, we see the, you know, why, you know? This is incense, and this is the staff. Remember, the Nazis also had this, but this comes from, again, Roman times. Then this comes from Kemet. You got to have the staff. And he's bodied by the church. Or no more beef eaters. Where's the beef eaters? Where is that wall? That wall was really, I mean, just look at this. That's a lot of ugly. That's like more ugly, like, but he ain't no, he's an ugly dude too. Like, this is a lot of ugly right here. These don't even look human. I mean, look at them. They look very alien. Like this is a mask over something. So I saw a wall earlier, and I'm sorry I can't find the wall. I wanted to show that, and I thought I could find it just messing around, but oh man. I noticed they had Texas shooting, blah blah, a wife and a son. They got an accent. Yeah, Lobo definitely be on point. Texas shooting that happened last year in Texas happened around the finals. I remember because Steve Kerr got all. Yes, that's right, Lorenzo. That is right. And that's all about gun control. Definitely lizards. Yep. Probably bona fide freaky deaky. Well, that seems to be the thing. So what they look for is Diana. If you look at she was a virgin and wasn't really, wasn't really about that yet. And so you can't expect a young girl, and that's what you would really want. I mean, you could tell his pimp game was weak. You had something raw and tender that you could have molded into everything you liked. But he liked the other chick because he ain't had to tell her what to do. I mean, understand that. It was arranged marriage to have a king. She had 2 future kings, one more than likely. But she had old wrinkled, crinkle looking face, looking ass woman. It has a widow's peak. that black they wear comes from us too. Brothers was guards with huge afros. That's the black hats. There you go. Hey James, what's happening?
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
So, and it was funny, like, and I didn't even talk about this last night because I kind of forgot, but it was funny, like, when she showed us this pictures of this, it's interesting. It's like, why do you care? Like, why does any American care to help with the TV revenue far as ratings? Why would you care? They have nothing to do with us. However, we give them money. We give them money. We've given them money forever. Ever since the Revolutionary War, we give them money, our tax money. Look it up. So, but it was interesting. Oh, I wanted to say this about the first game. Do you guys remember by the second quarter, Tatum, what was it? It was 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Tatum was 0 for 8. Do y'all remember that in the first half of the Boston game? You see how they do the games? Because I remember they kept highlighting it when he was 0 for 5. And I was like, oh, he's 0 for 5. And then when they said that they emphasized it again. And so the thing I talk about is you can see the lack of effort. You can see the lack of effort. They can make the score any kind of way they want to make the score. Because again, it's, the spread is what the spread is. And they're very cognizant. Everybody is cognizant to get the score right. That's what fixing games and scripting games is also. Doesn't matter. The final score is that the over and unders have to match. Because the house wants to always win. And now that the NFL is in bed with the gamblers, which they've always been. Again, the NFL was created by gamblers. I mean, the history is easy to find. I mean, I can just rattle off names. Myra's owned the Giants, the Rooneys. These were all gamblers. Big, heavy gamblers. That's why when I read that article about the players getting suspended, you can still bet on other sports. The NFL is the only sport that they don't care that if you bet on other sports. The other sports say you can't gamble, period. But the NFL says you can gamble on other sports. You can't gamble on our property, planes, cars, buses. But long as you don't gamble on our property, it's okay. It's okay. Let me see if I found this. I might just read it instead of bringing it up. I don't think I broke it down enough the other day. Oh, yes. Let me look this up. Let me look this up. You know, we have heroes. And, yeah. No, not, yeah, right here. Here we go. Not quite, is it? Yeah, here we go. I have to talk about this. Yeah, Vita Blue died. I don't know if you guys really know who Vita Blue was. I tell the story about Pat Mahomes Sr. I think Pat was out of Texas too, and Pat was one of the guys that Pat was probably one of the best athletes I ever met. I mean, it really was. Pat could have played quarterback at Texas. Pat probably could have played basketball at Texas as well as being able to throw a fastball 100 miles an hour. He's one of the best athletes that I've ever ran into. But this cat right here might have been just as good. This cat right here is one of the, and tell you, you give highlights. You definitely give his highlights. And the lefty had a historic season in 1971, going 24-8 with a 1.82. He struck out 301. Okay, that's numbers with 312 innings. That earned him the Cy Young and MVP in his third major league season. Do you know only a few other people have done that? Won the Cy Young and the MVP? Also made his first All-Star game. And I'll tell you what, they say he, Doc Ellis. I should look this up. Doc Ellis, and I'd probably get hit for copyright, but look up Doc Ellis, where Doc Ellis tells you he took a hit of acid and he pitched a perfect game on a hit of acid. Doc Ellis. He is, I should run a little show on Doc Ellis, but Doc Ellis is hilarious. Somebody has a cartoon too, but it is hilarious. He threw a no-hitter on acid. But they were the first two brothers to pitch. This is matter of fact. This All-Star game is historic. This is the All-Star game where Reggie Jackson damn near knocked the ball out of Tiger Stadium. If it wasn't for the lights, the high lights on top of the stadium, Reggie Jackson would have hit it out of Tiger Stadium. He went on to 5 more All-Star nods. He was traded to the Giants at a 7th. Actually, he played well for the Giants. And he played the Giants for 81. He spent 82 and 83 in Kansas City. He missed time in 83 and 84 as he dealt with drug addiction. Eventually returned to the Giants the following year. Blue and former teammates pleaded guilty attempting to purchase cocaine, so he's probably set up. And that he believed that his drug problems barred him from the Hall of Fame. Probably so. Probably so. He stayed close to the game. He was allowed to be analyst for the Giants. But I really dug Vita Blue. One of my teammates, his nickname is Vita Blue. I have a teammate that's left-handed, but his whole story, he probably couldn't have played college quarterback at a major university because of Jim Crow back then in his age. But he was that talented to play college quarterback because he played football in high school and was an all-American football player. But his first few years, he was amazing. Even when he played with the Giants, he was consistent. And again, cocaine has kept him out the Hall of Fame. But this was one of my, guy. That's how he looked older. And this is a sacrifice. So we have a sacrifice. You see, this is a California sacrifice, right? This is a Texas guy, but the majority of his career was played in California. So we're probably looking at a California sacrifice, which would probably be he played in Oakland. He played in San Francisco. So this is obviously a warrior sacrifice. So Vita Blue was killed because of the Warriors. So that may mean the Warriors are going over the hump. But yeah, I mean, that's the season he had when he was young. I mean, this guy could really throw the ball. And in that All-Star game, he gave up some home runs. So did Doc Ellison. Doc Ellison gave that home run up to Reggie Jackson that he almost hit out of the stadium. Look that home run up. They said only a couple people had knocked the ball out of Tiger Stadium. Babe Ruth was one, and the Jewish faith guy Hank Greenberg, I think, was the other one. And then Reggie Jackson's would have went out too, but the lights held it in. Because if it wouldn't have been the lights, it would have went out the stadium. But yeah, this was one of my heroes. I dug Vita Blue, so I had to give that little props. Somebody I dug. That's my one of my friends in high school. His name was Vita Blue. That's what we called him. So there we go. Black hat then where it comes for us. Black. If the Celtics lose a series against the Sixers, it's going to make them look tough to beat, like the battle boss of a video game. That's a good point. If the Celtics lose the series against this, yeah, I would agree. Hey, Smoking Bird or Smoking Big.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Lorenzo, the first guy I saw hit the ball out of Tiger Stadium was Cecil Fielder. Yeah, Celso could hit too. But watch that Reggie Jackson shot. Because again, everybody was hyped. I mean, think about it. With Vita Blue's pitching, Vita Blue gave a home run up to, let me think, because I think the American League, because it was an American League stadium. So the American League, Vita Blue pitched first. Vita Blue's first batters was like Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente. I mean, it was like these dudes, like all Hall of Famers. His first 6 or 7 people, and he gave up a home run to somebody. But then when Doc Ellis went in there, Reggie Jackson hit that ball damn near out of the stadium. I mean, it's like the ball literally disappeared from the camera. And then they showed a shot where the ball was bouncing. But that ball, trajectory-wise, they did the trajectory. It was like 500 and some feet. He was going to knock it out in the street. So, yeah. But what's funny, now I've said Old Tiger Stadium was that old rafter stadium where you got beams everywhere. Like, they ain't made like that anymore. That's the first, that's why I still like Detroit, because that's the first pro baseball, pro football, and pro basketball, and pro hockey games I went to was the Tigers and the Lions and the Red Wings. And what's funny is, I said before, Old Tiger Stadium was the old-fashioned stadiums. I mean, this stadium was built like 1901, 1902. So when I go to it in 72, 73, this thing is it's 70 years old. And they were so greedy, I've said this before, they would put seats behind beams. And people would buy the beam seats. I wouldn't understand, you got to watch the game like this. But I brought this up is what's interesting, when you look at people catching the ball and you look at batting practice, or even look at foul balls, in the new stadiums, you don't really see this as much anymore. But in the old Tiger Stadium, you could see where they would hit the ball so far up in the air where it was above the stadium, and the dude would still catch the ball. The new stadiums, you don't quite get that feeling. But Tiger Stadium was one of those stadiums, you could see how high they could hit the ball. And I'm not saying that a normal pop fly was going to go a home run, but I'm just saying a normal pop fly would go up above the stadium, then come back down, and they would catch it easy. So I was always impressed with that. In new stadiums, you don't quite get that. The depth is a little different, I guess. I think I had some. Oh, okay, the water's over there. Oh, see, over. Thank you.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
I want to see the Warriors win because the reactions. Reactions are hilarious. That's funny. Ice Cube's supposed to be making a movie about the pitcher that was high on acid, and Junior's playing this role. Yeah, Vita Blue was a mug. Vita Blue was a mug. I mean, some people, y'all was watching, I don't know if you guys watch baseball, but a guy was saying, who was that? Y'all was watching the basketball yesterday. The ex-coach, what's his name? The ex-coach said, Vita Blue played on that. Vita Blue won 3 or 4 World Series. Vita Blue won 3 World Series because the teams he was on, with Catfish Hunter, Bando, Reggie Jackson, they won 3 World Series in a row. Like 73, 74, and 75, I think. So you had the Big Red Machine with Cincinnati with Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan. They won 2 years in a row. But then you had that team that Vita Blue was on, won 3 years in a row. You know, Charlie O'Hara and Hammer. Remember when Hammer was a little boy? Hammer was the bat boy. He was the bat boy for some of them teams. Because Hammer's not that much younger than me. So yeah, Vita Blue was good. He was good. But yeah, that Doc Ellis story. Look that short up. That short is so funny. They do it, because he said he just didn't realize he had to play, and he still went. That is just crazy. Like I played football. Well, I practiced football on weed because you can't really smoke weed. Like I imagine edibles. I could have done edibles before a college game, but like if you had a morning game, you got a 1 o'clock game. Your day starts 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So if and then if you got a away game, I think like the one time I smoked a joint, we were playing North Carolina Central. We knew we was gonna blow them out. So I smoked a joint like at 8 o'clock in the morning. We had a 1 o'clock game. So by 1 o'clock, I ain't really buzzed anymore, if you understand. So, but I saw dudes come into games drunk. A couple players came in drunk, didn't play worth shit. Get you tired. Mark Jackson. No, not Mark Jackson. The two brothers that are coaches, Van something. The Van brothers. Those two dudes. They're from Oakland. They're from California. So they was telling that story. Van and what's the coach? One just got fired from New Orleans. The other brother, they both of them are with Mark Jackson. So yeah, those guys, those coaches. He brought that up the other day. And I must say, I agree. Those were some great teams. Again, they had Raleigh Fingers, they had Vita Blue, Catfish Hunter, Raleigh Fingers. I mean, they had a great team. They had a great 3 years. They had sweet uniforms. So they had a great 3 years because people forget that the athletics used to be, I think, in Philadelphia. And then they went from Philadelphia, because you can look up the athletics when it gets to Connie Mack, if you know who Connie Mack was. And then you look into the athletics went to Kansas City because they used to be Kansas City Athletics. And then they went to Oakland. Yeah, Jeff Van Gundy. Yep, Stan and Jeff. Exactly. Thank you. Hey, Key, what's happening?
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
So that's, he brought that up. And then Vita Blue dies today. So you can't look at that any other way as that's definitely, that is definitely a sacrifice for the Warriors. So you can't get away with it. Guy played the majority of his career with he just gets, and he gets traded across the bay. So he's playing in Oakland, won 3 World Series. Then he actually played well. He actually pitched well. He had some decent teams. I don't know if he played with a young Barry Bonds. And what was the other dude that gets that big check every year for baseball? What was his name? Played for Baltimore. But when they were playing together, I don't know if Vita Blue played with them. I'm talking about Batista, but no, he didn't play out at San Francisco. I don't think. Yeah, when Barry Bonds went out there, Vita Blue had probably been retired. But it was a couple decent giant teams that Vita Blue played on. Oh yes, John Blooming, what's happening? Bad beats.
My bitches.
Buzz.
You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Athletics was just like the Warriors, started in Philly, then moved out to the Bay. Yeah. But yeah, Johnny Blue Moon Odom, matter of fact, that is one of the 3D cards. I gotta find out where I put my 3D cards. But yeah, that's one of the 3D cards I ordered was Blue Moon Odom. I had to have that one. I used to have that one. So yeah, Johnny Blue Moon Odom. I had that 3D card. I got it in the house. I'm pretty sure I do. MC Hammer was the bad boy for the A's. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. He was the bad boy for the A's. Exactly. So yeah, it was just, I used to do scrapbooks and stuff, let me show you another brother that you probably don't even know. Probably never heard of this brother. Here we go. I don't want a World War II dude. I want a quarterback. Nope. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This is be him. This is probably a brother y'all ain't never heard of. You guys have probably never heard of this brother. This brother is one of the most winningest college quarterbacks of all time. I got to see this brother play a lot because I went to, I lived in Kalamazoo, and he went to Toledo, and they played Western Michigan University. Now, to be an All-American in the College Football Hall of Fame, you have to be All-America. Let's see, was Chuck Early All-America? Tony Dungy, Peyton's old coach. Let's see, talking about one of the best quarterbacks we've seen. Dungy came of age in Southwest Michigan around the early, shattering 70 miles away at University of Toledo. He was Russell Wilson before, blah, blah, blah. Chuck Early was a beast, blah, blah, blah. High school, could play in the NFL. I was in high school when he played for Toledo. He inspired me to be a great quarterback. Let's see, can I read this? Elusive Chuck Early led the Rockets to 3 consecutive undefeated seasons. 35-0. He is one of the winningest quarterbacks of all time. Do you dig what I'm saying? Chuck Early led the Rockets of Toledo, again, they're Mid-American, which is a mid-major, to 3 consecutive undefeated seasons. 35-0. And probably he couldn't play as a freshman. Quarterback, a record that still stands to this day. He led his team to 3 undefeated seasons. He led the Rockets to Mid-American Conference titles as well as Tangerine Bowl victories. 71 early senior season. He was named first team All-American by the Football News. Then that makes him All-American. Second All-American by the United Press. But that makes him All-American. Then he's eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. All-American by the Associated Press. He got considered for the Heisman Trophy. I think Johnny Rodgers won in age 71. Finishing 8th. Okay, he finished 8th in the Heisman. Early played professional football in Canada in the Canadian Football League and won the Grey Cup in 72. High school and college never lost a game. In high school and college, Early's teams never lost a game. From 69 to 71, Early and Toledo Rockets strung together 3 undefeated seasons. 35-0. Only Miami quarterback and Ken Dorsey quarterback. So only Miami quarterback Ken Dorsey and USC Matt Lyer, each of them completed 34 winning streaks, which came close, but he's still the best. You have to go back 70 years when Oklahoma won 47 straight to beat what he did. Some folks say not only quarterbacks fair enough, but Early arrived at Toledo. The Rockets were 25, 32-2 in 6 previous seasons. This is him in Canada. Yet the quarterbacks most as a starter isn't the College Football Hall of Fame. What's worse, he might never be. This year ballot represents his final chance to receive the honor, and they didn't put him in there. And all it has to be is you have to be All-American, which he was. Hall of Fame snub might be latest injustice he had his stomach, but isn't the first. When Early entered the draft, all 22 teams passed on him. Not once, but 17 times. So he didn't even get drafted. Early passed. He passed for 4,000 yards, almost rushed 1,000 yards. He threw 42 touchdowns. That's interesting, 42. Not surprised. This is him playing in Canada. Early became the first black quarterback to win the Grey Cup. I did not know that. Between high school and college, he went 65-0 as a starter. He hadn't been beaten a decade. He didn't lose till he went to pros. Wow. When asked what went wrong, Early told about a rumor published before the draft. One of the primary reasons, says the Ohio paper had quoted an anonymous scout claiming Early signed a 3-year, $100,000 contract with the Canadian team, but it wasn't true. So they put that out there to stop him from playing. Blew a gasket, can't throw long. He threw 43 touchdowns and 23 were 40 yards, so they changed the number to 43 here. Can't throw accurately. 3 years, he completed 54% of his passes. And they say only 11 quarterbacks had a better average. Well, we believe passed on Early because he had a weak arm or because of the nameless scout who had already signed. He had already signed in Canada. No reason Early didn't get drafted because he was black, who told clubs didn't want another position. At this point, it was still common to practice black quarterbacks to play different positions. Only 2 quarterbacks ever started AFL or NFL game. Marlon Briscoe, of course, and James Shaq Harris started for the Buffalo Bills. Briscoe actually played a whole season. And then he was later after playing a whole season, they put him at wide receiver, and I think Briscoe won a Super Bowl with the Dolphins. He just wanted to be allowed to play quarterback. I would be satisfied going some British backs without getting the chance to play quarterback. Pre-draft help, sinker, blah, blah, blah. He took his talent to Canada, signing with the Canadian Tiger Cats. He played for also the Toronto Argonauts, same. He talked to the Blue Jays when early accomplished. He led the CFL as a rookie. Wow. There's this rules has made certain that most college fans won't think of early dominant contests as being worthy. During his run, the Rockets won an average of 23 points, went 3 for 3 in the Tangerine Bowl, went 3 for 3 in Tangerine Bowl and Pensioners, finished 2 seasons ranked in the top 20. He beat Lou Holtz, William and Mary. Wow. And he said he could have played anywhere. The Rockets didn't finish any of those undefeated seasons ranked higher than 12, but still, what does that matter? Associated Press put those 12, a Mid-American school. After going 11-0, they didn't finish. They weren't ranked at all. We know that was BS. Today, our angry fans would be their team win 11-0 and finish unranked. Wow, 8-3 and 8-3 Auburn made the poll. Come on. Okay. First, the rules say that only players who made first team All-American according to a selected, recognized NCAA be considered. His senior year at Toledo early was the third team All-American on the AP, second team UP, and All-American first team on the Football News. Back then, the Football News was not recognized. The rules required inductees that played their final season of college football in the past 50 years, mark a full century, early finished career because they recognized he couldn't be included. So it's sad. But I got to watch him play 3 times. He was a bad man. He was definitely a bad man. Chuck Early. Watch some of his old videos. Watch some of his old videos. He was actually, a pretty great quarterback. And I watched him play the first time I watched him play. And, I kept all his clippings from then on. Because one thing the Kalamazoo Gazette did is the Kalamazoo Gazette, did all the MAC sports. This is a true story. There was only one football player in all my years of experience. There's only one football player that scared me. And I don't know how I was young. And I don't know why I was sitting on the visitor side. Because I was sitting on the visitor side. And I came face to face with Jack Lambert. I must have been 10 or 11 years old. He was missing his teeth. This guy had to be 6'4", 6'5". That was the only, and again, I was a little boy, but that was the only football player that physically scared me. I just remember standing in the crowd, and it was like me and him face to face almost. I was a few feet away because, he's walking to the crowd, and he was kind of waiting for the team to catch up. He was just kind of standing in the hallways. And I stayed face to face with that dude, and it was like, that scared me. That literally scared me. Seeing that man, and I remember when he went into pros, and I was thinking, man, I have to deal with something like that because I had seen him. So that was the only player that ever scared me. And I played with bigger dudes, stronger dudes, but I don't know. Seeing Jack Lambert as a little boy scared the hell out of me. Made me rethink football. No, they ain't gonna do that. Hey, Dr. Senator.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
OTF.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
It seemed somewhat staged for him to push him. Seemed somewhat staged. And then the owner to flay back like he's in, that showed you it was staged. When he flared back like that. Because, there was no reason to elbow him. You can't tell me he doesn't know who that dude is. He knew who he was, so that looks staged. So no, I doubt anything will be about it. Excuse me. I saw Lawrence Taylor. He ain't scared me. I went to one of his games in Carolina. He didn't scare me. I stood next to him. He didn't scare me. Because I saw him play at Carolina. I went down to Carolina. We watched him play. We had a bye. And we went down there and watched him play. We knew somebody else. It was nuts. So I stood by him. He didn't scare me. He didn't scare me at all. But Jack Lambert scared me. But yeah, I saw because he wore he had a big number. What was it, 98 in college? But yeah, I stood next to him, and he was like other cats. In rushers, linebackers was like your best athletes, like true, like true defensive end. But I'm talking about in rushers like 8, 9, like 9 position. You know, a true rush in. You would drop back, not just they would be the best like outside linebackers generally on the team are the best athletes. Like now you're seeing safeties, safeties being some of the best athletes. And that's like if you follow football, the thing that Jimmy Johnson did that revolutionized football is Jimmy Johnson was one of the first dudes to put the best athletes on defense. And Deion Sanders, despite him not going to that system, he still kind of benefited from that. Best guys play defense. And I would even say Lawrence Taylor fell under that at Carolina. I think he played running back in high school. So, and you see that today. But I know y'all just mad about them Eagles. Yeah, just all theater. I know y'all mad about them Eagles. We gonna have all them linemen. The league is gonna learn. Get them SEC boys. They putting the team around Hurst. They gonna make it look good. The Kelsey's gonna play another season. I was kind of worried if Kelsey, and you see they're trying to get rid of that wedge block they was doing last year too. The way they would wedge block people down. Which is technically a flying wedge, which technically is illegal. Look at my video. I made a video about that. The way they would all kind of lock in and just wedge through. That's technically illegal. Anybody has any more efficient game from the field as Booker and score 40 with no free throws? Yeah, it's dudes that I want to say it was a pro-am game. I think that game where Vashawn scored 80. He didn't shoot any free throws. I'd have to ask Tyrone and I'd have to ask Tyrone, but I think in that game, I don't think Vashawn, that was, it was a semi-pro, it was a pro-am, it's summer league here, pro-am. And I don't think he shot any free throws that game. He had 80, it's 3-pointers, so I think he had 80, 81. And I don't think he shot any free throws that game. So, and I'll say this, Vashawn Leonard was probably the best shooter I've ever personally saw. Is Vashawn. Played with and saw. Probably Melvin McLaughlin is second, but it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Vashawn. He had such a natural, and I mean, he could get up on his shot. He's Flint boy. No, Vashawn was from Detroit. Grew up with, went to college with, Vashawn went to college with Jalen. Yeah, Detroit Southwest. Shit, I think Anderson Hunt went there that later played for UNLV. They had a stacked team. Jalen and them got beat. A dude just threw the ball from half court and went in and beat him. I think when Jalen was a sophomore. Yeah. By the time he saw LT, I was down there. That's how I know about it. I was down there when he was down there. We had a bye my freshman year. Nah, this was what it was. My freshman year, I didn't travel. And so I talked to a girl that knew somebody was a homeboy. Her homeboy played. And so that's why I went, because I ain't traveled with the team my freshman year. So we went down there and watched them play. And I got to meet her homeboy, but I saw him. And he wasn't really that much, more built, but he really wasn't that much bigger. He didn't scare me. No, he ain't scare me. We had a dude that could literally probably stop a bus with his head. He tackled the old-fashioned way. I used to like to avoid his ass. I used to like to avoid him. Pete Hammerhead. He would lower his head and give you the boom. And that used to be legal. That's how Nick Bonacani's son broke his neck. He lowered his head. That's what we was taught. We were technically taught to lower your head and put your helmet right between their shoulders. That's how high schools taught it. And then Nick Bonacani's son broke his neck like that. And really, it wasn't until they never changed that when I was in college. So my last year was 81 in college. They never changed that when I was in college. Now, when I started reffing and I started doing football, I started coaching football, and the rules were still you could lower your head up until, let me see, by the time I brought Daryl in, Keelan was born. So like 90, Keelan was born in 02. So I want to say like 97, 98. What they did is they told you to keep your, and I bet Form Runner will probably remember this. It's probably more his age. They told you to, so the only difference was, so as I said, what they told you to do is put your head here and then you hit them in the chest. So what they changed it was you keep your head here and you put your face and then you wrap your arms. Do you dig what I'm saying? So before it was put your head down, hit them and wrap. And what they switched it to, and I bet Form Runners is the age that he would remember this, is when you kept your head up and you still throw your head out. So you're still, like a lot of people would just hit them like with a face mask. You've seen hits like that. You kind of hit them with your face mask and then you wrap. So you're like, boom, so you're not hitting them up here, but you're still hitting them like with your face mask in their chest and then you're wrapping. And that's kind of what, until the last few years, you kind of saw that for forever. Head up. Because that's what, I would tell young dudes, it's like if you touch any part of the helmet, it's face mask. That's what I would tell them. And I would say, if I see you not hit, if I see you lower your head, I think we could even put them out the game at that back then. But I'm like, you have to see what you hit. You can't touch the helmet at all, but you have to keep your head up. Now, running backs is the only ones that don't. Running backs can still to this day put their head down and run into somebody. So, in Big Ten country, y'all play football, while down here at SEC, we play football. Yes, see what you're hitting. Absolutely. Yes, Dr. Sinister.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Yes. You see what you hit. And that's, 20 years I did football, the years I coached, that was one thing I put in. Even when my son was playing, I still was like, you got to keep your head up, And think about this. This is true. And this is my generation. When you look at, and I should get some of the old pictures. I probably could find old pictures, but linemen used to have to block like this. This is literally all a lineman could do. I mean, of course, you could forearm somebody, but literally this is like, watch the old films. Watch the old pictures. Everybody's like this. Meanwhile, the defense could do what Deacon Jones, because even when I was in high school, you could slap up somebody upside the head. And you know what that does? That gives you a little slight, it makes your ears ring. But like you can not only slap them upside the head, you can slap them upside the head twice. And my whole time of playing football, you could do that. The defense could still slap you upside the head. My whole time playing football. When I was a little boy football, I dominated like that. My first two moves was slap, slap, and I'm by you. So the defense could do all that. The defense could do all that. Could slap you upside the head. You can never hold. And that's why, if you look at the trap play, that's their way of getting an advantage. You have slants and you have trap plays. That's why the veer was so successful, because you're moving them around, and when they can only block like this, they can get better angles. That's why a trap play is so beautiful, because blocking like this is perfect for that, because you can block like this and blind somebody, because the tackle comes in there and he's like, oh, they missed me, and boom. You've got somebody coming sideways and wiping you out. Hit a face mask and side to the front. Yeah. Put your head down. Yeah. Yeah, they're telling you now, put your head more to the side and wrap. Instead of putting your face in their chest, they're telling you, go to the side and wrap. That's why I've said, and I'm going to put this idea out in the world. Right now, football is set up for 7-on-7. That's the way football is set up. College is playing the 7-on-7 role. I mean, we're seeing where it's, the middle linebacker is almost a position that's disappearing, because he's not really needed unless you have a real running team. And right now, the fans like passing. They don't mind a great runner every now and then, but the money is in passing. So right now we have, if you look at development, the only development for really linemen is to play other sports, play basketball. You have the big linemen that play basketball, so they active in the summer. But there's really nothing that develops the lineman. That's offensive defense, because linebackers and DBs can play 7-on-7. If you're you're a safety or you're a linebacker, and I would even dare say this, if you have a child that is talented enough to play rush in, put him in 7-on-7 too. Because, they play both ways of the ball. Because right now, there's just no development. Because, again, tight ends can get developed on 7-on-7. But there's no development on the lineman other than lifting and playing other sports. So whoever can figure out a way to competitively put these big fellas might have something. Oh, it finally fell out. Huh? Craftsmanship sucks. This little pin fell out. Probably in the house somewhere. Bad craftsmanship. Remember I had this, my son was like, why do you have this? It's a pocket hatchet. You never know when you need a pocket hatchet. You dig? It's go in your pocket and, if I've got to cut little pieces of wood or something, I've got a hatchet for it. I cut down a little tree. So that's why I got it. And this blade is still razor sharp. Yeah, this is still shave. Woo! Damn near cut myself. And this is stainless. And stainless, the thing about stainless is if you don't use it a lot, it'll stay sharp. So if you use them, they don't really stay sharp. Get a carbon blade. LT was big on slapping old linemen upside the head to get by them. I know you told the story about my dad paid me to play high school football. Should I have made some money too? Yeah. LT though was strong enough to speed rush people too, and he was the first dude to really do that dip. Wiley was on Fox. He used to always talk about how you can get that hand down, and he was the best at that. Remember the offense that the Redskins had to put in there when they put the H back. They had to put that extra blocker over there to protect from him. Yeah, I remember Washington, Joe Gibbs. He had to put that H back there to protect from, and that was from Lawrence Taylor because he ran havoc. And it's just funny how, he's one of the guys that we see that success destroyed him. He had a great career, won 2 Super Bowls, but again, a drug addict, a true drug addict. And a drug addict that's actions still hurt the league today. Because when they had the strike, Joe Montana broke the picket line and Lawrence Taylor. Now we know why Lawrence Taylor broke the picket line. He was on drugs. And he broke the picket line, he had went through his money, and that's why he broke the picket line. And we see the NFL is finally catching up to the other sports union-wise and guaranteed money. But he is one of the reasons why it's taken so long, because him and Joe Montana breaking the picket lines. And a long-lasting way that, and it was terrible that they agreed with it. The rookie years have 4 guaranteed years? You got to stay with the team for 4 years with a fifth year option, the team or your option. That's a slave contract when the average football career is only 3 years. So do you see what they've done? They've locked you into one team for 5 years, technically. I mean, everybody's celebrating Lamar Jackson's contract, but he ain't getting that contract till next year. That contract, other than the bonus. Now, again, you sign a new contract, you get a bonus. But the rest of that money, he does not get until next year. He's still under the rookie deal. And that comes from the offensive lineman mad that all the rookie quarterbacks was coming in getting more money in a single year than the linemen would make in their career. And so the linemen screwed the future players over because they was mad, and the linemen agreed because what they was trying to say is, well, we'll cut the money that these top picks are getting and try to give linemen a little more money. But what it did is it locked those extra years in there. So, and that's, that you should be a free agent from day one, unless you want to sign a long-term deal. Should be no union force that you got to stay with the team these number of years, unless you sign. You should be free to sign the number of years, not league guided. And like baseball screws young players all the time because they do not have to pay them a full salary if they're not on the opening day roster. And so they would have guys play with them all spring break, all spring training, and then they would send them down the first week or two and then bring them back up. No. This would give them another option year on the player. So they were able to keep the player another year by doing that dirty business to them. That's why most baseball players, they're almost past their prime when they get the money, if you really look at it. Albert Pujols is a prime example of a dude that was past his prime and got all the money. And then you look at, why do these older players, get so much money? Well, it's because the way the game has done them. Like, look at Mike Trout. He's on the end of his career. Again, he's getting pretty big money. So, well, you know what? I got to use the bathroom. So I'm going to give you some vintage Chocolate Mountain Show while I go use the bathroom. Oh. See if I can. Wow. It's kind of a lot of shows, y'all. Let's see. What is this? Oh, this would be fun. This would be a fun one. Let's see. This would be a fun one. I think, all right, here we go. Downtown Minneapolis, pregame, postgame. Postgame.
We lost.
Daughter-in-law. We lost.
Daughter-in-law, thank you.
Daughter-in-law.
Can you work on it?
We lost. I'm the oldest motherfucker here. But this shit is smooth. This is the smoothness. This ain't a drive-by city. Rooftop in October. Rooftop. Okay. So, full from the game. And down here at Cowboy Jack's, right? Cowboy Jack's on the rooftop in October. I'm the oldest motherfucker up in here, but I'm up in here, y'all. We're just having fun. That's all. Oh, there goes Brother Nick. He stood in line for about 2 hours to get them two. Let's go. I'm saying we lost. I'm happy that we lost. We lost. You see all this purple and we lost. But this ain't really no drive-by city. This is kind of what's happening afterwards. And we on the rooftop. This is my second youngest. What? Right here, second youngest. That's my second youngest. So we tripping with him. So just giving y'all a taste of what was going on in Minnesota. No, that's my second oldest. I'm trying to think. Oh, and let me tell you, my hat was the freshest. Nobody had this hat when I went into the game. So, motherfucker was fresh to death. It's funny, when I went to the game last year, I was seeing cats wearing this hat. But when I had it, and then nobody else had that hat. I'm trying to think who they lost to Cleveland. Yeah, I think they lost to Baker Mayfield in Cleveland that day, if I remember right. Where the fuck? Let's see. It's gotta be here. Here. Okay. Nope. This one. Nope. Bring it back. All right. Turn it off. Okay. In a way, it's side for old lineman. The only old lineman that's beneficial in 707 is the center, but I can't even say him. That's a good point. That's a good point. I remember this, the classic. That was last year. I think it was year before. I think it was actually a year before. Yeah, it was year before. Year before. But we was fucked up. But man, we spent so much money that day. Like we spent, I'm telling you, it was, we got dropped off at Cowboy Jack's. And Cowboy Jack's is actually closer to Target Field. But it's on the train line. And so they had half-price drinks and breakfast. So we had breakfast and we drinking. And then you just catch the train to the stadium. The train take you straight. We Ubered downtown and then they just took the train straight to the stadium. So, yeah, I think it was year before. Last season I saw, and the season before, yeah, maybe that was even 3 years ago. Because that wasn't when the Eagles played, because they beat the Eagles. So, B. Brown, do you think Billy Walters was the agent, one of the biggest sports bettors? I don't know. I'd have to study him. I'd have to study him a little better. I don't know. I have to look into it. More than likely. That's why it's a shame. Like, they have the thing where the brother from Arizona. Let me see. I'm going to do this. That got caught, point shaving. And what it is the individuals want the money. The individuals want the money. So that's why, when you see those the point shaving controversies in the last 10 years, it's individuals saying we ain't getting a big enough slice. We fixing these games and we ain't, so we gonna fix them inside of the fix. And that's what you see. And I think the Arizona guy is one of the biggest ones with that. Oh, there it is. Good. So I'll look him up. I have to look him up. Oh. Where the hell did this come from? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. All right, let's look it up. And maybe I can give you an answer. There. Yeah, I'm not hip to this guy. I guess I'll let everybody read this. Let's everybody learn about it. Let's see if we can say. Billy Walters on his conviction, his gambling conviction. This is what year? This is 18. Who is his prime, had the financial muscle and acumen to move betting lines worldwide. Scared Las Vegas. That's scared, yeah. Sport books and offshore gambling operations to the degree that they refused to take his bets. Lying inside he was in a prison. Wow. Chris McGreen, prison, the White and Bleachers, 50 miles, blah, blah, blah. Billy Waters waits U.S. Court of Appeals to hear his appeal. The spring conviction insider trading cases sent him to federal prison for 5 years. Waits to see whether good behavior in prison will cut his sentence, and waits to learn whether the U.S. Supreme Court will possibly soon as next week seemed unthinkable during his gambling career stretch for decades, decide whether to legalize sports gambling, which they have done. So if your question is he an agent? It does seem like this. This morning, Waters behind the desk, oblivious to the NFL games that were soon to kick off, even in prison, unable to gamble, he still might be able to make some money on the league. The soon-to-be law opened up negotiation with his business representative to convert the 7,000 course into stadium parking. Wow. Waters spoke outside the lines, eager to discuss the insider trading conviction, his life-changing trial, specifying his own defense. He groused about how a one-time friend and gambling partner, Phil Nicholson, left him high and dry and might be the most responsible for him being in prison. He spoke about finding perspective in recent years, prepared to contact, loss of luxury, freedom, adrenaline-inducing challenge defied him. Once in prison, Waters and his team have become far more in recent years wanting to. So, did he get out? Let's see. Does he get out? Because I don't know this guy. But is he, I mean, again, I would say yes. He was probably an agent. I would say yes, because they have the biggest and brightest work for them. And don't think that any, these other organizations don't want. So I would say yes. He seems like, a lot of that seems like a cover story. Because what is greed? What does greed tell you? Greed is good. I mean, remember Jimmy the Greek was a sports bettor. Remember, they put a handicapper on TV every week in the 70s. Now they got rid of him because everybody was saying, what are you guys doing having this bettor on every week? But remember, and then Jimmy Greek made the statements about being bred, stories you done read in some book about, having farms, breeding, and they got rid of him. But he was the same thing. He was the same thing. So, say Alabama team got caught. Yeah, I mean, it's like they understand that it's fixed and they ain't getting enough of it. I mean, the players that got hurt the worst ever out of gambling scandals is Connie Hawkins, Roger Brown, and Doug Moe. And they was caught in that only because they didn't want them to go to the Knicks. Because it was a hurt Bill Russell's in them, their run. And they wasn't ready for Connie Hawkins' style of play. They wanted Connie Hawkins and Roger Brown's style of play not to come into the league yet. Because Elgin Baylor didn't play like Connie Hawkins or Roger Brown. He had his own moves, but he wasn't what they was at their peak. Not to say Elgin Baylor wasn't a great player, but his style wasn't their style. The style Roger Brown and especially Connie Hawkins. Because Connie Hawkins' style is still lasted. This is Connie Hawkins right here. And there's no denying who invented the split eagle, the split eagle dunk, because it can be done with the scissor dunk like this, or it can be done with your legs straight apart wide. And the first person reported to do that dunk by the media was Lou Conaseca, the ex-coach from St. John's. He saw Connie Hawkins do it as a senior in high school in 1960. And so just showing you that this symbol exists shows you, his type of play to hold the ball up. They called it a hook because Connie would go up like this and they think he's about to hook it and then he would dunk on people. So he was the first one to really bring it up and they didn't know if was he going to hook or then he started slamming that hook. He's like, why am I hooking it when I can just go up and then just bring it in? As I said, players like that had big hands. I didn't have big hands. I could just dunk because it's funny. A fiance said, how can you dunk the ball without being able to palm it? And it's very easy. If you can jump high, the ball will travel with you. You don't need to palm it. If you can jump high, you ain't got to palm the ball. It's going to go where you go. It's not that heavy. It's some ounces, 28, 30 ounces. It's not that heavy. You jump in the air, 40 some inches in the air, it's easy to dunk. You ain't got to palm it. But, yeah, Jimmy the Greek. Yeah. So he's I would say he seems like he was placed there and he crossed somebody, and that's what happens is they cross people. I mean, I speak about Martha Stewart, but it doesn't seem like the guy who gave, Martha Stewart the information that she applied it to got in trouble. She went to prison. I don't think that dude went to prison. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he did. But yet Martha Stewart went to prison. So you see, it's kind of an act. They act like, and we know what federal prison is like. I mean, if you don't go to Atlanta and you don't go to the Illinois federal prison, some of the federal prisons, no prison is great, but some federal prisons are better than others. You cuff it. I was cuffing before my hands grew some more. Oh yeah, I could cuff dunk too. When there was no dunking, only in the game where you couldn't dunk in warm-ups, the best thing I could just throw it in. I mean, I could just get up above and just literally throw it in. Like, be up where my hand be like damn near where the squares, and then just throw the ball into the hoop. You ain't got to touch it. You dunked it, but you didn't touch the hoop, and that's what they went by. And a guy on my team, the first game my senior year, trying to do what I did, he dunked it. He actually had to dunk it. He couldn't throw it in. He went in and dunked it, and we started the game with a tech. And high school techs is 2 shots. So we started off 0-2. And he didn't even play that game. He dunked in warm-ups because trying to be like me. And got us a tech. Because he couldn't do it. He couldn't throw it in. Like when I started dunking, I learned to dunk two-handed because I couldn't palm the ball. So I learned to dribble it, grab it with 2 hands, and I think the first time I did it in a game was my sophomore year, going into my sophomore year in a summer league game. My old Lincoln Elementary, where I had went since 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Watched many semi-pro games up in that old elementary school, and it was my time to shine. And the same game, I missed about 7 dunks, but I got 1. And I had my uncle's old shoes. There was a single star Converse that they didn't sell in Kalamazoo. They sold them at Benton Harbor, ShopRite, I think it was called, in Benton Harbor. And I had never seen them, only on TV. So he let me wear them that game. So, I'm wearing used single stars, but ain't nobody else got them. And I dunked it in front of all my peers. Had a fast break, boom, 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 had it together, steps and everything, and boom! All my peers. And that's funny, like you look at the pictures from my sophomore year, or even my freshman year going into I'm senior, everybody got taller than me because I never my tallest was 6'1" before I started shrinking. And everybody 6'3", 6'4", but they was never better athletes than me. So I was still the best athlete. So it didn't matter who was taller than me, they weren't better athletes. And then, I look back at it, it's only 2 of, my high school, it was only 2 of us that, from my year, that played college sports. Dave played at Western, I played at A&T. So, we look at the team now, a couple younger guys, Rob went to Michigan State. Rob Holland played football at Michigan State, but he played basketball too. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, not many. So you look at a football team that's 40, 50 people, and only 2 people went to college and played football. I mean, that's, that just tells you right there the odds. That just tells you the odds that it takes. Yes, indeed. My homeboy told me, my little brother, like you, your brother has springs. Oh, yeah. Atlanta prison. I know that big ass jailhouse in Fulton County. Did not know about prison. Yeah, it's a federal prison. That's one of the worst ones. Hey, Don Player.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Yeah, that's that Fulton prison is, is not a prison that they call the federal vacation prisons. Again, the story of a guy that was my connect. What is it? Peanut. What was the guy's name? It was Peanutty, J Nutty. I think it's Peanutty. You can find on Al Prophet if he hasn't taken it down. And I'm trying to think why I even brought his name up. I don't remember. Oh, I brought Peanutty. I think his name was Peanutty. Is on El Prophet, one of my old connects. And Peanutty went to a federal prison. He had a bunch of gun charges, and it was interesting. But he said he had a little bread, and he said the people in the prison, and he talks about his prison experience. And so, but it was federal prison because of the gun charges. Again, one of the things that Trump's people did that was dirty is under Obama's 8 years, they wasn't going after you like if you just got caught with a gun, the feds wasn't going after you because most of the time you get caught with a gun, it's 5 years Fed time. And so Obama's people wasn't going after people, but Jeff Sessions, before Trump fired him, that is one thing he did, and feds started picking up gun cases again that they had stopped doing. So be aware. Hey, Don Player, I am wonderful. Beautiful day today. Again, I just stayed in the crib, watched sports all day, watched hockey, watched basketball early. But I got up early. I went to bed, 4 last night. I got to go to the dentist tomorrow, so get my other teeth deep cleaned and get a couple caps put on. So that's going to be fun. And might get a little pickleball in. We'll see. Mondays is really my daughter's day. She has practice, so I don't know. See if I get a little pickleball in or not. Maybe not. But I need a better knee brace. I was kind of, I can't find my knee braces. So, and the just single patella thing, just don't do it. And I don't want a big heavy brace. It's too, I ordered the new braces. So, but yeah, so, this week is going to be pickleball dominance. The weather's going to be nice. I don't think I'm going to play in the morning because it's supposed to rain. Because I was going to go play and then go to the dentist. But if it's supposed to rain, I'm just going to go to the dentist. And maybe play on the way back. That's what I might do. Play on the way back. Nah, it'd be done by then. By the time I get out to the dentist, it'd be damn near 1 o'clock. So, I don't know. I don't know. Have to see how the timing goes. We'll see. We'll see. But that's about all I had, y'all. Didn't really have a whole lot tonight. Time is it? No, good. That's all I really had tonight. Didn't have too much on. I try to talk about things that mature people would talk about, I guess. That's all. Look at some of the realities and what I'm affected by, this local stuff. And like I bring up these stories and I look at these stories and I don't try to say one side or the other. I say, look at the story from every side. Because one reality is people aren't afraid of the police anymore. Especially one-on-one. I mean, more and more you're seeing people that aren't afraid of the police anymore. Again, one-on-one. I mean, think about it. If you're armed, he's armed, and you got a vest, he got a vest, you're not as scared. You feel you're more prepared to deal with them. And again, most of these local incidents, these are 3-4-year-old people. They're not, fully, 10-year-old guys. 3 or 4-year-old people still can make a lot of mistakes. Because damn, if a dude done crashed a car and I suspect that he's drunk, I'm a PBT him, first of all. And if I didn't have backup, being a woman, I would have just cuffed his ass. I would have PBT'd him and cuffed him. Because you can always, now again, drinking, you want to get the test done as soon as possible because of the way alcohol metabolizes in your system. But again, you're out there by yourself at night, and you're out there asking him to do this where, for my own safety, I'd have felt better to put him in the car, and I would have did the sobriety test later. Because if you PBT'd him, because you can PBT him or whatever, the small kid is, you can do that right in that car. Then just arrest him. Because that will arrest him, and then you take him on the big machine in the office, or they take blood, whatever. That gets him too. So So I don't know, guys. I don't know. You know, I don't bring those stories up as you know, friend or foe. I can look at both sides, and that's what I want y'all to look at is both sides. Because that's how we should look at everything. We should look at both sides of everything. And if there's a third or fourth side, look at that too. It's almost like a bottle. You know, you want to read the whole bottle. You know, you turn it all around. You don't just look at part of it. You turn it all around. It's fucking loud ass bottle. Goddamn. There we go. Oh, excuse me. And so that's why I bring up things like these. Not to steer anybody's opinion, but to broaden the way you go about looking at things. And what does it mean to you? Yeah, indeed. Look at it from all angles. That's right. Because a lot of things they bring you is supposed to hit your emotionals, hit your emotions. And you know the difference. Oh, you should have, as an adult now, you should know when they're trying to bring up emotional stories. Especially when giving you facts about emotional things. And racism is very emotional. That's why I know earlier, when they were talking about reparations for the people in California and whatnot. I broke that down a couple years ago. I think I broke that down on my old channel. Because what's going to happen if they did this, remember, there were movies when it was a big national push. Do y'all remember the reparation shaming that started being in movies? Atlanta had one of them. They had a reparations where the little boy said, "Oh, you guys only got your money from reparations." Remember the reparation? But that wasn't. It wasn't just Atlanta. It was another movie that said the same thing. Reparation shaming. You only got money because of this. And that's the other part of it. How do you think Europeans are going to feel like working class Europeans? How should they feel about it? But Europeans cannot doubt that they benefit from the illegal, murderous deed that was done to the original people that lived here. And the original people that lived here are still here. Relatives of those people are still here. That's why they put all the lies out. Oh, the diseases killed them all. They want to tell all those, no, the diseases didn't kill them all. And then we know the lie of Africa. The numbers is like, again, one thing Dane said is right, is where's the slave ships? It's cargo ships. Several books will tell you it's just three or four, but most slaves came from here. Took slaves off the East Coast, took them to the islands, especially out of North Carolina. And these are just facts. And, all European people live here have benefited from this theft of property, because we can go over the treaties that gave them Alabama and Georgia. And even their own records, they show that this was falsely done and falsely taken. Millions, hundreds of millions of acres, because you get people drunk and people don't really know what they're giving away. So Europeans can't say that they haven't benefited, because you have. You're living on this land because of the murderous things that was done by the first people that came over here, first Europeans. And their dishonest practices of stealing land and minerals. And this is a fact. And I guess, if you go with the European colonial mindset is, well, you people were conquered, so what did you expect? Well, conquered people mean we're always in a state of war. Isn't it? We should always fight to get out of being conquered. And I have nothing against the 5 civilized tribes, but we know what's full of that. We know what you did to create that. You created the natives, the know-nothings. We know you created the natives. The natives mean native is a term that does not mean an indigenous person. That's why the natives started calling themselves indigenous. They was late to that because they hung to that 1970s word native. They hung on to it. And it's been the last 2 or 3 years because we've been the ones that saying we indigenous. Then they started saying it. But they've clung to that native thing forever. So now they was like, well, we got to say we're indigenous too because we can't let them. We thought, and you know, when they went to the government, that's all. He was like, wait a minute, we thought natives meant we were the ones. Now they're saying they're indigenous, and wait a minute, we need to. But no, you already call yourself native. And we must say, because let's not forget, one thing about natives is they hate them too. And most natives are poorer than poor. Now, where I live, they're rich, but there's like, it's not Ojibwe. The Ojibwe got a small casino up north. Them people ain't rich. Turtle Island, them people ain't rich. And then we've got some poor, where they have no casino or gaming at all. Look up if you want to laugh, look up the Wild Boys. they were a reservation gang. But again, meth heads, you know, the government goes in, gives a little drugs and, you know, divide and conquer, make them fight each other. And we have the names. See, that's the thing. We have the names that's related to the East Coast tribes. We have the names. So, it was killed off by the stroke of the pen that led to reclassification. Yep. Talk to them. Natives, a very new word. Government misnomer. Like, yeah, oh yeah. Natives is from the 70s. And that's, see, again, they never used indigenous until now. Like I showed you that Meredith Quinn, and that's the guy that wrote the Time Warning Papers, but he still says the native stuff. He don't say nothing about indigenous people. He says the native Indians. When you read the Time Walkers, he not one time does he say indigenous. Not one time does he refer to himself as indigenous. The whole Time Walking Papers, he calls himself a native. The whole time. Well, he says what tribes he's from. That's true. He does say what tribe he's from. But again, he uses that native thing. So that's just the way it reflects. So, and again, you can see that. So I guess the question is, what is this going to do to the poor white trash? Because we have a big poor white trash community in America still. So if you give the melanated people all this money that they are owed, how are your poor, who you've battled against us from day one, how are they going to feel about it? Again, there's movies that were showing the reparation shaming. And so we can only just have an educated guess that would be more and more the closer if the checks got cashed. It's going to be more and more of that. That's going to make Europeans feel a certain kind of way. And I would dare say, you know, they're going to want to cheat more and they're going to want to murder more. Because again, you read the book, The Killing of the Flower Moon, that shows you, as I said before, if melanated people in these neighborhoods, it's all, you know, not that built up, all of a sudden jewelry places, furniture places, clothes places, all of a sudden, for a little while, they're going to strip mall all around that. Because they're going to want to capture that wealth if that wealth does go into neighborhoods. Because we watch what you've done before, and that's exactly what you would do again. You would flood our neighborhoods with all these things to try to capture our wealth. And this is the thing that's messed up if they did give this away. Instead of us truly saying we all got enough money to get away, start our own communities, start our own townships. Mugs would be thinking about buying Range Rovers. I mean, because they know us. They have profiles of us. And that's what would happen. We would never unite. You know, we already know our spending power is in the billions. And if there would ever be a time to unite, if we got that money and we all just could look at each other and say, okay, what Malcolm X said was right. Let's get our own communities, start our own. And this goes back to Noble Drew Ali. This goes back to Noble Drew Ali. What he taught everybody is we could get our own communities, our own townships, get our own businesses, do exactly what's the one young brother Sly meant, you know, economics, hospitals, banks, and start our own communities and totally disengage. You know, trade with them, but totally give all this stuff back, find our own land, build our own stuff. That's what would be idea utopia. And just trade with them. You know, wherever we buy, whatever natural minerals, wherever, but you know, and truly trade with these people instead of being subservient to them. So, but they know us too well. They give people that money. The people aren't gonna know what to do. Like I see what these Indians do. They drive in Bentleys and shit. You know, because they know what niggas is gonna do. They know niggas. And niggas is gonna be niggas that ain't never had no money. You gonna do what niggas do when they ain't never had no money. And it would be hard for everybody to listen. You know, even if somebody, you know, just like they gave that money and somebody took their money and say, let's do a campaign to tell all our brothers and sisters, let's unite. Let's get our own townships. There's plenty of land. And we could get out of their houses, give their houses back to them. We could keep our jobs. Nobody said quit your jobs, but we could disengage from them and build our own townships. It's a township that was just created here, not far from where I am now. It's called Credit River. It's part of Prior Lake. Now it's Credit River Township. And this goes back to how Noble Drew Ali showed you how to start these. And it's not hard to get 30, 50 acres and build houses and build your little communities there and live amongst each other. And then, you know, barter. That's the greatest system that we ever had was barter. Deal with our own. Because it's obvious that this integration thing ain't worked. But see, the problem is they want our money. That's the problem. If we talk separation, they don't want us to separate because they still want our money. And they still want us to blow our money. I mean, just go out. Like you go to a pro game. It is think about, you go to a pro game, it's 20,000 people in there. Do you know how many pairs of Nikes you're going to see compared to other shoes? It's almost dominant Nikes. And you know really that you could 3D print your own shoes? You could damn near make your own shoes. What do you think a cobbler is? He's a person who makes shoes. So it just shows you we don't need their stuff. We can make our own stuff. But if this happens again, everybody gonna want to escalate. Because, you know, there's difference between melanated people and niggas. Niggas never want to work together. Niggas only think for themselves. And that's not gonna change. That's, you know, the King Vaughn type, who I smoke type. That's all they know. Because, you know, again, we got grandparents. We are 3 generations from, so we are grandparents who didn't raise their children, who had children, who had children. And that's what we got with the Who I Smoke Society. And all these people claiming these small parts of these major cities and killing each other, doing the government a favor. Because you're killing melanated people. And I understand the melanated people beat you up or whatever, killed one of your friends. But this is a cycle that's, you know, been going on since the 80s that they've recycled. And then they call it, what, drill music. And these psychopaths make this song and they make them famous and they kill each other. Now, there's a good part of society. One thing that was shown to European society was the disrespect of workers. That's one thing COVID did. Is it showed the disrespect that Europeans had, because that's the attitude. Because the attitudes come from the Europeans. And so when you have these Europeans that own these companies and these businesses, it's a cloak. It's a cloak of Europeanism, of Westernism. It's an attitude as you work with these assholes. And again, the way Western society is, it has to have poor people, because the less you get paid, the harder you work. That ain't never changed. The less you get paid, the harder you work. Physically harder you work. All the physically hard jobs that don't get paid that much, you physically have to work hard to do those jobs. That ain't changed. And they have to have that. That is capitalism. And now we're not even in capitalism, we're in surveillance capitalism. So people don't even understand that the system has changed to something else. So I just bring those up to be aware of what you're facing. Native and Indians didn't even match. Matter of fact, Native name is not in the treaties, the law in 1968 civil rights, but Indians names are on them. That's right. It's the Indian civil rights. Did you see what Donald Sterling said about Magic Johnson? Look it up, Unc. He had a very valid point. Sorry to say. Yeah, I'm not surprised anything about Magic. Magic was, Magic was in high sexual ritual when he went there. And again, I saw him on some old person medicine selling, but Magic was there to sell condoms and push this HIV thing. And that's why Magic, he owned the Dodgers, and I think Magic is in on that bid to get the Toronto team too. No, the Senators. Yeah, the hockey team, the Senators. I think Magic, along with who else was it? Snoop. I think Magic, Snoop, they're trying to get the Senators, Ottawa Senators. I think they're trying to buy that. Magic has a share also, but Magic was given this because of, they went to Magic. Magic, won your 5 titles. You've won everything you can win, but we need you to take this thing, and we got to have your son. And that's why, to agree to let that be done to his son. Because people talk about Dwayne Wade, how they booed Dwayne Wade out of Florida. But look at Magic. Magic agreed the same thing. And I've said, again, I didn't look for it, but reality hit me where there's nothing wrong with that boy, and that boy really had it. That boy's 6'5" or 6'6", 6'7". And I didn't want to hit in that reality, but that reality kept coming to me, seeing him be a normal player. So they made sure that didn't happen. Again, I could care less about Magic. I've been known, about how he was back from his high school days. Still say they changed the date of birth of Andre, because there's no way I would have been in college and known about Andre. There's no way. Now they saying Andre was born in 80-something and not in the 70s. So we know some things been changed, because Magic had a baby his senior year. And his girl had relatives in Kalamazoo, and now they say that he wasn't born until he was in the pros, like the TV show. So that ain't what I remember. But again, what's the term? Overworked but underpaid. There you go. There you go. But yeah, PG, I'll check it out. But I'm not surprised about Magic. Nothing about him. That's really, I said before, that was the real fallout. That was the fallout between Isaiah and Magic, was over Dr. Tucker. That's what the fallout was over, because all of them felt that, Magic turned. No, let me take that back. Dr. Tucker took all them. Magic was like the handler. You understand? Magic's older than Mark Aguirre, and he's older than Isaiah. He's a year older than Mark Aguirre. He's 2 years older than me and Isaiah. So Magic was a handler for all them dudes. If you understand. Because I first met Isaiah at Dr. Tucker's camp. We were in the 8th, 9th grade. So, he was being handled even then. And Mark Aguirre was down there too, like his junior year, senior year. Maybe his freshman year in college, he worked down there. But when I was in camp, he was in camp, and Isaiah. We was all young. So, and so they were handled through magic, and all these was all of the agents. There was a bunch of them. Jay Vincent, Gary Kelser, Greg Kelser. And one time, Tuck probably had 7 or 8 people. And I said before, what was interesting is when Glenn Robertson signed, after cheating Magic, cheating Isaiah, Mark Aguirre, all that group, he signs Big Dog to the biggest contract, NBA contract ever. It was the $80 million Big Dog got was the biggest NBA contract ever for a rookie. Y'all remember that Big Dog Robertson? And damn if he didn't have Dr. Tucker as his agent. So, how you figure? How you figure? He didn't learn nothing. He basically broke down how the Jewish community help each other out and how the melanated community screw each other. He said Magic's known for having HIV, has nothing to do with his people. Yeah, that's true. Suge Knight said Snoopy legally bought Death Row, but how when Harry O was a silent partner, yeah. Snoop didn't ask Trump for a pardon for Harry O or nothing, yeah. So Chris Webber and Jalen had a similar situation with one guy who they got money from. Yeah, they got money from Ed Martin. Yeah, Ed Martin. Ed Martin paid for all the AAU. Ed Martin worked at Chrysler. Ed Martin worked either at Chrysler or General Motors, but I want to say Ed Martin worked for Chrysler. But Ed Martin was the biggest numbers runner in Detroit. And Ed Martin loved basketball. So Ed Martin was paying for multiple AAUs. I mean, everybody knew Ed. I mean, if you had any kind of basketball in Michigan, you ran into Ed Martin. You knew that cat. And he was the one. That's why Chris Webber was banned, because he lied. Because Chris Webber and his brother went to Detroit Country Day. His parents couldn't afford the salary out there, the tuition. Ed Martin paid for the brother, Chris Webber's brother, and Chris Webber to go to Detroit Country Day. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact. Him and his brother, Ed Martin, paid for all that. But Ed Martin was a numbers runner, and he worked for GM, so he made great money at work, and he made great money in the streets before Michigan turned it into the lottery. But before the lottery, it was the numbers runners. The numbers runners made just as much money as the dope people. People forget that. Make a movie out of that, L Prophet. Talk about YBI stripping cars. Wasn't just about selling dope. Find the dudes that used to strip the cars. That's what YBI was famous for, stripping cars. Carjacking people and selling the cars. That's what YBI became famous for too. And he don't talk about that at all. It's just everybody selling dope. Okay, so why is YBI and why is carjacking first shown in Detroit on a big major level? But he don't show any videos of that. Just everything is dope. Okay, dope sells though, don't it? But the carjacking goes on now. Ain't for stripping. The car. Well, we had the catalytic converters. People stealing them, and people rightly popping people. On your property, you can shoot somebody. Well, not outside your house, but if it's kind of iffy. But some people have popped people for stealing their converters and got off. So, Nico Blaze, what's happening?
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
But what got Chris Webber and what got him caught was Taylor was taking Cleves. Montine Cleves was visiting Michigan, and Trailer got in an accident. And then they got to looking into it, and Trailer was driving a brand new whatever back then. And then Montcleves didn't go to Michigan. Montcleves went to State instead because of all that. Tractor Trailer, later played with LeBron. The Kia Boys. Now, I don't know of them. I haven't heard of the Kia Boys. No, I haven't heard of them. No, I'm not familiar with the Kia Boys. So, there's a lot of people out there getting it. hell? Oh, okay. I've never heard of this. The Kia Boys. He look crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. Crazy as hell. Let's look him up. I don't know about these guys. That ain't the ugly dude I saw. Let's see. Ah, here he is. So this is a guy. This nigga looks crazy. Look at this dude, y'all. Look at him. Oh, he looks so crazy. Oh, he looks crazy. Where is he looking? Like, is he looking at the camera or he can't look at the camera? One of the individuals, YouTube gang of car thieves, last month to plead. This is in Milwaukee. So this is a couple days ago. This is in Milwaukee. Kia Boys YouTube documentary. Mark Hughes plea deal reached. Hughes agreed last month to plead. He needs to plead to get his eyes straight. Because, I mean, I don't know where he's looking. They told him to look at the wall, and he's looking like several places. But last month to plead guilty in charge of drive or operate without consent. That's pretty minor. Exchange 3 other charges, including first-degree reckless endangering, obstructing, and felony bail jumping are being dismissed. Ooh, felony bail jumping. Wow, being dismissed. Wow. Case details. According to criminal complaint in the morning, an officer responded to Hawthorne. Spoke with one person, reported that the person that rented Lanta with a Keystar ignition in Pennsylvania. The person told the officer the car had been stolen. Well, we know Kias are the most stolen cars, especially up here. They are the most stolen cars. Matter of fact, I got a relative in insurance. Some insurers will not insure Kias. They get stole so much, some insurers will not insure them. Another person reported stolen in the area of Washawasta. The plane indicates a video uploaded to YouTube titled Kia Boy, a story of teenage car theft. In the video, red Honda is seen driving recklessly. Wow. I received a call from unknown report reporting a Hyundai driving high speed. Roughly later, reported about a crash involving a school bus and a Kia Sorento, so they steal the cheap ones. Shows a man arrive at the scene in a red Hyundai Elantra wearing a black hooded sweatshirt with the word Glock written in lettering. The sweatshirt matches the description of the front passenger YouTube video. Honda in the video had the same Pennsylvania license plates. So this is the car right here. The Kia Sorento was processed with several fingerprints were recovered. One of those matched the finger of the Markel Hughes. Is that him, the cross-eyed dude? How did he even drive? Like, how could he drive looking like that? Like his eyes couldn't even look straight ahead to stay on the road. Okay, I'm sorry. On June, the complaint said the call defendant states, I heard my video went viral. Wait a minute. Wait. The defendant was arrested. 2 officers take drive without the owners. Okay, so a detective reviewed jail calls placed by the defendant. You know all the jail calls are recorded. The complaint says in those calls, the defendant states, I heard my video went viral. I heard hit 50K in one day. Wow. Officer said the video had close to 500 reviews after 2 weeks. Admitted to being the driver of the car, saying he was going too fast, as does not steal cars, but he agreed with the detective when the detective said you just drive them. The defendant fingerprints identified, and he stole a bunch of other cars. Wow. But those are the easiest cars to steal. Let me see. They steal Kias without USB drives. Now, they steal them all. Snitched on himself. Agreed. This is funny. He's an ugly dude. Kia Boys. Well, let's see. Let's get a little bit of Kia Boys. Okay. Let's go. Okay, let's hear what they got to say in Milwaukee. Let's go. Tell us about it.
What she says happened when she was taunted by the Kia boys. Her anger is passionately expressed in a viral video that's been posted on Facebook.
Our Gabrielle.
Okay, now what did I tell y'all about Milwaukee? The ugliest people live in Wisconsin. That's a mighty strong jaw, long necks. But he's an ugly dude, and this sister's ugly. I told y'all the ugliest people in America live in Wisconsin. This is a prime example of three ugly people. But let's go.
Gabrielle Mays joining us now live from the newsroom. And Gabby, this woman says she almost crashed her car trying to get away.
Yeah, that's right, Steph. LaPorche Kimber also says she could have been seriously hurt.
Okay, I'll give her a pass. I mean, this is a weave, but she's okay. She's kind of cute. Even if she just had braids, she'd be cute. But okay, let's go.
And possibly the next victim of Milwaukee's reckless driving. We want to warn you, the language you're going to hear in the story may be offensive.
Listen, y'all.
What did you say? What did she say again? What was that?
Y'all need to get y'all stupid, ignorant kids for real.
In a now viral video, LaPorche Kimber's message is loud and clear.
This is not okay at all.
Kimber happened to be driving near Marshall High School Thursday morning when a group of young men in a Kia pulled up the street.
These see me, I damn near run into somebody's house, trying to get out of their way, had to pull up in somebody else's driveway.
Can you say booger bear?
And it's still coming from me.
Kimber says the car continued to skid and swerve, and at one point it even pulled up behind her.
Hanging out the car, laughing, smiling, just.
So she done queued herself up. She done queued herself up. What is all this? Get away. She done queued herself up, you know? Look, as she's reading, she done gave her a little script. Oh my goodness, she sucked her thumb, teeth are crooked. But I told you, ugly people live in Wisconsin, but let's go.
Got the music up, just really loud.
She's convinced those in the car are part of a group called the Kia Boys. They're known to steal Kias and Hyundais throughout Milwaukee and drive recklessly.
These children are not in school like they're supposed to
New Jersey Drive. New Jersey Drive.
We're out here just doing our normal daily routine.
She says after posting her video online, many people messaged her.
It really felt good to know, you know, that you're really not in these type of things alone. And I think that's why the video did get so much attention.
After a day to think about what happened, Kimber says she realized something.
Some of these kids are really skilled drivers.
She says she'd like to have a community discussion to help the young men use their
Video did get so much attention.
After a day to think about what happened, Kimber says she realized something.
Some of these kids are really skilled drivers.
Oh my goodness. We gotta have one. We gotta have one. What are we doing? What are we doing?
She says she'd like to have a community discussion to help the young men use their skills for good.
Hey, if they have a community discussion in Milwaukee, there's a bunch of ugly people getting in one room. But let's go.
We're fed up.
Y'all should be fed up for living around so many ugly people. Hey, look, it's a key in the shot right there.
You know, something has to happen.
Now we to presume this car is stolen. The license plate is hanging. The trunk is up. I mean, is this one of the stolen cars? Oh, what are we doing? I mean, how does this like?
For good.
We're fed up. You know, something has to happen right now today.
I mean, what's the odds of that raggedy car would come through there? What is the odds? Okay.
Now, Kimber says she sticks by everything she mentioned in her video.
Now, she ain't bad. She ain't bad. For a Milwaukee person, she's not bad. But let's go.
Well, video. However, she says she does wish she swore a lot less. Steph.
I know how it is in those moments, though. Sometimes you just can't help it. Right?
Oh, man, that's a lot of ugly there. Look at that neck. Oh, what is this? Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's get away from her. Told you, a lot of ugly people. You follow those ugly people home, they're going to be greeted by more ugly people. And if you don't think there's that many ugly people in the world, you are mistaken. And you might have to look in the mirror and wonder, am I one of the ugly people? Kia Hyundai thefts expensive for victims. I bet. Milwaukee says YouTube documentary wild and sad. Well, here we go. More Kia boys. I got to peek.
I was in class and we were just doing like simulations, and I came out and it was just gone because one of my classmates, her car was actually broken into first, and they tried to steal hers. They couldn't get it, so they took mine.
For residents here, it's a problem that is spiraling out of control. By June of this year, auto thefts in Milwaukee were more than double the total for all of 2020. And 2/3 of all stolen cars in Milwaukee are manufactured by only two automakers, Kia and Hyundai. The problem is so rampant it's become a local sensation on social media. Users post videos of perpetrators breaking into cars and driving recklessly. The nickname Kia Boys has been given to the criminals, while the cars themselves have been dubbed Stolies.
We came out and we were over at that side of the parking lot, and we were looking at the glass that came out of her window. And like the security guard was saying that somebody else's car had been broken into over here. And that's where my car was. So I went over there and I noticed my car was gone. To the kids that take the cars or whoever's taking them, it's just a joyride. To me, that's part of my livelihood. I can't get to work. I work in Kenosha, and then I go to different hospitals in Milwaukee, and I live in Racine. How am I going to get around without it,
They see the Hyundai sign and they immediately go for it.
Living on Milwaukee's east side, Mark Hoffman has seen his vehicle get broken into on multiple occasions.
One time I had my whole car stolen. Took a whole day to get it back. We found it eventually 11, 12 at night. One morning I came out to my car about 5:10, getting ready to go to work. Saw the back window had been pried out. It was laying on the ground like a sheet of paper. They broke into the back window, shuffled through all of the glove compartments and everything. Didn't take anything. I don't keep anything in there. I was coming out to my car one night, getting ready to go home after hanging out with some buddies. Came down to my car, parked at the end of the block. There's another car parked next to it. Somebody kneeling down by the back door, trying to come in. I didn't know.
I was hanging out with my buddies. Look like he's looking down like he's reading, but go ahead.
What to do? I just took my keys off, jingled them around, kept walking, and he realized it was my car, jumped back into his car, and the whole crew of them sped away, so I saved it that time.
I spoke to MPD's Sergeant Efrain Cornejo for more information on why these brands are being targeted and if this phenomenon is unique to Milwaukee.
I am aware that there's other cities around the country that are having the same issue. I know ones that are seeing the same type of trend, was in Colorado. They had a similar trend, and there's other cities, but I don't think that thieves are targeting Kia or Hyundai directly in those cities. At least from January of this year until November 3rd.
No, he's lying, because people nationwide are targeting Kias. They're the easiest cars to steal. Their system is basically the system that GM had in the 80s. It's just, it's simple as hot wiring a car. That's how simple it is. Just watch on the video. You can watch a YouTube video and they'll show you how easy it is to steal these Kias. And as I said, there are insurance companies that won't insure them.
There's been a total of 8,898 auto thefts. Out of those auto thefts, Kia and Hyundai account for 67%.
Wow. 8,000 cars stolen. Damn.
Of that total number. 3,013 of those have been Kia, and 2,972 of those have been Hyundais. Compared to last year during that same period, there was a total of 3,328 stolen autos, and out of those, there was only 109 Kia vehicles and 186 Hyundai vehicles that were stolen. The thieves were able to pretty much steal them easier because there's some of the vehicles were not equipped with engine immobilizers, and what typically would happen is it's as simple as being able to break the steering wheel column and manipulating a mechanism to get the vehicle to start.
Police suggest owners of Hyundais and Kias should invest in a wheel lock to stop criminals from driving away in their car and prevent break-ins in the first place. Wheel locks are simple and easy to use. Just place it inside your steering wheel, expand, and now criminals can't turn if they try to drive away with your vehicle.
That ain't true.
Had communication with Kia and Hyundai.
You can defeat wheel locks. So that's not true. You can defeat them. But let's go.
Actually provided us.
Hey, this is like the most laid back cop
with
in
something
the
to
world.
distribute to the community as well.
I mean, this dude is laid back like a bug. I mean, look at him. Look how laid back he is. I mean, he's kind of wrinkly, unsheathed, but he's just like, he doesn't, I mean, what is he? Okay, he's a sergeant, but he's like he don't really care. He's like, well, I'm going to tell you the facts and,
So if anyone from the community that's interested in the steering wheel lock and is an owner of Kia or a Hyundai, all they have to do is go to any of their local police station here in the city of Milwaukee, and they can request a steering wheel lock.
Reporting from downtown, this is Seth Herlinger from Media Mobile.
Man, okay, Media Mobile. I was wondering who the hell this is. I mean, because they weren't professionals, but okay. That's going on here too, though. They're stealing cars left and right here. And it's New Jersey Drive. It's not stealing them for a purpose. Oh, let's see this one. This one might be a little fun story. Let's see this one. This might be a little fun story on the same subject, but let's go. This is more of the Kia Boys. Thank you for hipping us to the Kia Boys.
Boys takedown. Stolen car crash June 10th near 8th and Keefe ended like this, with a citizen's arrest. Witness cell phone video shows a man holding
Citizen arrest! Citizen arrest! Citizen arrest!
down a teenager until police came.
Never seen it coming, and boom, it was just there.
Crash victim Eric Barksdale told 12 News exclusively by phone the teen in this stolen red Kia drove the wrong way on 8th Street, hit him head on, and smashed into a truck. After impact, he says everyone in the Kia bailed, but one teen who was hurt didn't get far.
As I looked up, I see he was in no conditions to pretty much run away, so I told him to just lay down. And by the time I told him to lay down, another guy that was out there, I told him to hold him down.
Police say officers arrested the 15-year-old on the ground. The others got away.
I was thinking I would never let the Kia Boys, as they call them, run into me. This was like something that I just could not avoid.
And now that he's seen the damage firsthand, this man wants to turn the dangerous trend around.
Unfortunately, these young kids are doing this. They're not really understanding, the severity that could come up out of this. Now that I've become a victim, I want to be a part in trying to slow these guys down.
And with so many reckless driving and...
Now, what did I tell y'all? The ugliest people in America live in Wisconsin. And look at her. Look how she's dressed, first of all. She's ugly and she's dressed ugly. But what did I tell you? The ugly. Look at this woman. This woman is not cute.
Stolen car.
Look how ugly this woman is. And look at what she got on. I mean, come on. Come on now. Come on. This how you on TV, hun? You look like a librarian. Like you working in a library. You on TV. But you ugly. When you ugly, you got to dress better, hun. If you ugly, dress better. Then people won't concentrate on how ugly you are. Then they'll like, well, at least her clothes looks nice. But dang, you are ugly. But I told y'all, the ugliest people in America live in Wisconsin.
In Milwaukee, some people who saw the video of the citizen's arrest right here call.
It was right there in the grass? She said, like, he got it right here. Well, we're going to stand right where he was arrested. He got it right there.
Calling that man a hero for catching.
He's a hero. for catching a person that was hurt.
A Kia boy. In Milwaukee, Hillary Mintz, WISN.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, is this another Kia boy? Oh my goodness. No, this is not a Kia boy. Who is this old man? What is going on in Milwaukee? It's like, what? This is here. We got to hear this one. This is here.
First at 10 tonight, a man is in jail facing multiple charges after leading police on a pursuit through White.
Wait. Where is this? Where is this? Because it said, wait. Unless this is in Memphis. Where is this? But I want to hear this. This seems kind of interesting. Let's laugh at this. Let's laugh at this.
For joining us, I'm Shay Arthur. Now, this all stemmed from an
I mean, I don't know where Shay is from. I don't know if this is Memphis because it says MPD because it's Minnesota. It might be Memphis, but this is one ugly chick. I mean, where do they hire these ugly chicks on TV from? This is an ugly chick.
incident on I-240 involving a Good Samaritan that was carjacked.
Man, she's an ugly chick, but let's go.
WRG's Jordan James joins us live now.
Look at Jordan.
Oh, and Jordan.
He looks like a young Jesse Jackson. He has a dream. I am Jordan.
I understand this investigation has been going on for a few days.
Jordan James, JJ.
Yes, Shay, that's right. Investigators got a huge break when they spotted a car at a gas station.
Where y'all think he bought this suit from? Look at this suit, y'all. Where y'all think he got this? This is like, man. Where did you think he got this from? Burlington Coat Factory or something? Come on, dude. Man, none of this fits you good. Okay, let's go. Macy's sells good suits, dude.
Station, which ultimately sparked a
Joseph A. Bank, Men's Warehouse.
Suit.
Carjacked on the interstate. That's what a man says happened to him Tuesday on I-240 and Mill Branch. Victim told Memphis.
Wait a minute, how do you get carjacked on the interstate? What, you was broke down and then he took the car and got it to run? How did you get carjacked on the interstate?
Police, he stopped to help someone involved in a car.
Wait a minute, you stopped to help? Who stops? Unless I know the person, I never would stop.
Car accident. His good deed was rewarded by that person allegedly driving off in his truck after wrecking their vehicle.
You just can't really trust nobody. You got to depend on God.
2 days after.
What?
Trust nobody. You got to depend on God.
After wrecking their vehicle.
You just can't really trust nobody. You got to depend on God. Nobody. You got to depend on God. Just can't really trust nobody. You got to depend on nobody. You got to depend on God. Just can't really trust nobody. You got to depend on God.
You got to depend on Jesus.
Police.
You got to depend on Jesus.
Spotted the truck at this gas station in Whitehaven. Investigators say the driver, Mario Oliver, took off running with a baby in his hand and...
What? Did he say he had a baby in his hand?
At some point, dropping the child. Took off running with a baby in his hand. Took off running with a baby in his Oliver took off running with a baby in his hand and at some point dropping the child.
No!
Oliver was eventually captured, but the impact still remains.
I'm kind of scared now. I wish I hadn't stopped. But you know something, you can't help people these days, so, you know, it's...
This lady stopped? She's the one that stopped, not some dude. This lady.
Well, I'm glad it happened yesterday and not today.
After being interviewed by detectives, Oliver is now charged with theft of property, child endangerment, among other charges. Back here at Exxon, customers like Sharon Woods says this case serves as a reminder to always be on guard when you least expect it.
Know your surroundings.
It's serious. The devil is on the...
That was the devil that took your car? No, you were stupid.
Proud. We can't...
No, you were stupid.
Understand that, but everybody got to keep God in mind.
That's why you stopped, because it was God, or the guy might have been cute. I bet, you know what? I bet she stopped because the guy was cute. She thought the guy was cute, so that's why she stopped. We figured it out.
God.
You weren't thinking about God when you stopped. You thought, ooh, he might be able to hit it.
Keep the faith and pray every day.
Okay, that's got a lot to do with the story, but that didn't stop your car from getting taken, did it?
Because it's serious out here.
It is very serious for dummies. It's serious for dummies. Don't be a dummy. Don't be a dummy. Oh my goodness. Who is he? Armed? What is, man, where? Like, it just keeps coming. I could do an hour of this. Carjacking. Where is this? What does this say? Down here, I can't read it. Get that shit out of there. Over here. Man arrested for stealing car with child inside. Panhandler. Like, it just keeps coming. Damn. This is some funny shit. And I'm going to admit, it is because it's from the law. Let's start from the beginning.
A week after a man.
Okay. I like his suit. I like his suit. I do. That's nice. That cut is nice. The color, the material. I like it. You kind of average, honey. You're average. You know, a lot of chicks look like you. So let's go.
Stole a car from a convenience store with a 5-year-old sitting in the back seat. Police have tracked down that suspect.
A 5-year-old in the back seat? Why did you get in the car then?
ABC 2 News' Jeff Hager right now with more on the arrest. Jeff.
Jamie, police say the car thief claims he never intended to become a kidnapper. Through some tips identifying the suspect, he's no longer a fugitive from the law. A surveillance camera inside the Royal Farm store captured clear images of the suspect as he jumped into the victim's 2010 Honda Civic just a matter of seconds after speaking to the owner as she got ready to strap her 5-year-old son into his child safety seat in the back of the vehicle.
A male approached her while she was standing outside of the vehicle and asked her for some change. She said she didn't have any, and the male immediately got into her car and drove off. He was not aware the child was in the car, according to him.
Fortunately, after he discovered the child in the back of the car, the suspect, now identified as 30-year-old Eric Dwayne Arnold, dropped him off in front of Baltimore's Western District Police Station and abandoned the vehicle a few blocks away. In no time, police knew who they were looking for.
We had several citizens call in saying they believed they knew who he was, and detectives followed up on that information.
Everybody is telling on to be like, hey, we know that nigga. That's Larry. Yo, come get him.
And we're able to file for the charges against him.
Police also learned that Arnold's mother lived within a mile of the Royal Farm store, which placed it within walking distance for him on the day in question. It should come as no surprise that a call for a panhandler soliciting customers for change at this Target store in Gambrills led police to Arnold on Wednesday.
Oh, did y'all know? In this state, you can stiff arm panhandlers. In this state, like if somebody comes up to you and asks for change, it's legal to mug them in their face and stiff arm them. So that's really what they needed to do here. But let's hear about Larry. What's he got going?
But even after his capture, the question remained, why would a man begging for money 1 minute steal a car with a child inside the next?
I think that's stupid. Obviously, he needed a car. I mean, if he's begging for change, he's not begging for change because he has a car, unless he ran out of gas. He's not terribly broke or homeless looking. I mean, I can't really, this is average, spring day dress. Doesn't really totally look like a bum. He lives with his mama, but okay.
When he was asking for change at the Royal Farms that day, he said he needed to get to Baltimore because his wife was having a baby.
So you steal a car to get there. So your wife's having a baby. You can't Uber because you don't have money. So you steal a car, and you're lucky you didn't get it. And then you look in the back, he's like, hey, nigga. Can you imagine the little European child in the back like, hey, nigga, where's my mama? If it would have been my boys, they would have been choking him while he was driving. They would have undid their latches, their little car seats, and my boys would have been choking him. When he tried to drive, when he wasn't looking, my boys would have been choking his ass when they was little. He looked in the back. He looked in the back. He thought he was going to the hospital. He's like, well, damn. And you know what? He was a decent dummy because he took him to a police station. That's some balls. You done stole a car, but you got the decency to take the baby to the police station and drop him off. Be like, hey, just you know how European, you like, hey, just tell anybody I'm lost and they'll take care of you. Oh my goodness. Oh my. No more. No more. No more piling on melanated people. Oh my goodness. It is like, what is it? Man accused of stealing luxury car. At least 15 victims. He stole 15 cars. Here's another one. Man stole a car with 3-year-old inside. This is a completely different story. What is it with stealing cars with babies? Car stolen with 7-year-old inside. Man arrested after stealing car with a toddler inside. I mean, look at this shit. Look right here. Man arrested after stealing car with toddler. Car stolen with 7-year-old inside. Man arrested for stealing car with 3-year-old inside. Man accused of stealing luxury cars from at least 15 victims. What is... Here's another one. Man arrested after stealing car with a baby inside. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is just too funny. It's just too funny. It doesn't even seem like this stuff is real. It's so funny. Oh my goodness. It's like, this stuff is so funny. It doesn't even seem like it's real. It doesn't even seem like it's real. Yeah, the baby was like, hey, nigga, you know you ain't gonna go too far with me in the car. You know what? He asked the baby in the back, he's like, hey, you know, I asked your mom for some change. The baby probably gave some change. Like, man, I got a couple dollars. I was gonna get some candy. Just let me out at the next police station and take these couple dollars. You know, the baby was like, man, you just here, man. You had to take the car. I had a couple dollars I'll give you. Lying Larry. Ain't nobody lying but Larry. Oh, my goodness. Now, I'm not picking on melanated people, but it is just funny. It's funny. And it's New Jersey. It's that New Jersey drive mentality. As I said, when YBI was taking cars in the late 70s, early 80s, it was to part the car out. You know, you steal the car, you carjack, you take the car to a shop, they part it out. The car itself might be worth $250. When it parted out, you might come out with $5,000 just because you jacked somebody pretty quick. That's why people started carjacking cars, because they was taking cars from people and turning them. And I mean, literally, you would take a car from a person, within a half hour, you might have $5,000. And the car, you know, it's running, but it's, you know, it's so many parts that they can just part out. That used to be a racket. He said, you know, your ass about to get caught. Yes. I thought I'd never hear about carjackers become babysitters. Yes. And then, you know, the baby's got to negotiate. Like, look, black man, you ain't gonna go nowhere with me. Come on, you know, where you gonna take me? You know, as soon as you take me somewhere, everybody gonna jump on you. So, and can you see the 7-year-old was sitting back there like, you know, here's the 7-year-old sitting back there. He ain't even paying attention. The 7-year-old ain't even know who drives. The 7-year-old didn't even know his mama wasn't in the car anymore. He was back there looking at his phone, was like, shit, ooh. Then he looked up and, you know, Willie's driving the car, was like, nigga, who are you? Where's my mama? And then the 7-year-old were like, man, you need some change. Hello, Valerie. Thank you for joining me. Oh my goodness. It is just silly of silly, y'all. And it just shows you, don't trust young people. 15 to 24, be on the guard. You know, be on the guard. 15 to 24, be on the guard. You can't trust them. Oh, well, guys, I got to go. I am going to the dentist in a few hours. I only got 4 hours of sleep last night, which that's about all I need. And be on tomorrow. Look for me around midnight-ish, and we can have fun again. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate it. And I don't know. I think, who do we need to see? Let's see. See if this exists. Ooh, it does. Let's see. That ain't him. Let's see if this does it. end with this. Oh, but before I leave, let's check in with Brother Nick. Brother Nick, what you doing?
Me and Bubba trying to rescue some kittens.
That is noble. That is noble, Brother Nick. Oh, this is not it. This is not it. He don't really do. Maybe, let's see. Let me watch this for a few minutes. Let me see. He ain't gonna dance. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This ain't gonna be funny. I can't make this be funny. What I'm looking for is not here. No, that's no. But I think, let's see, we might be able to make this funny. I think this might work. All right. Let me see. It's off. I don't want to. All right. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to end with this.
What are we doing? 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 I'm sorry. Nick is...
Oh, I love that. I'm sorry, Sly, but I love that. Let's go.
What are we doing?
Niggas be dancing, though.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm sorry. Nick is...
I just love that. Oh, don't get mad at me, Sly. This shit just is funny. Oh, because when he laughs, that shit just has me laughing. Oh, well, y'all, thank you for joining me. That is just so funny. Oh, because this laugh makes me laugh. Oh, well, y'all, look for me tomorrow night. I'll be back. Thank you for joining me. Signing off till we meet again. Say less. That part. And what would Prince? Let's see what Prince got to say.
Off my.
Nope. Oh.
Be satisfied. Y'all not gonna be satisfied until we get sleazy off up in this one.
That's right.